There are only a few more quests left to undertake, almost all of them ones we started already. The end is in sight. What's also nearly done is our exploration of every theme team in the game. In fact, today, there's only one character available that we haven't battled, though that's not to say they are actually the last character. That person is Ace. But just because they are the only theme team opponent in this episode does not mean there will be that many fewer fights. Ace, the Dreamer and Master Magician, has put together a complete show for us today, having 6 different fights, more than any other character in the nightclub. This magician has seen a lot of myth and mystery in their life, and will share some of it with us on Fairy Tale Field. Ace of all suits opens the show with shiny Metagross to Houndoom. I have to go for Dark Pulse on Houndoom to strike weakness, but that's not enough for the Pseudo, who crushes Houndoom with Earthquake. Well, we have to start Trick Room, which Slowbro can do after surviving a meteor. She has to survive another and a Bullet Punch to kill the Metagross with flamethrowers, which will bring out a Hoopa. Mawile can cover both versions of the Trickster, which is working with the most fitting trainer today, and we find out it is the confined version. Excellent. That means Sucker Punch is quad damage, and Hoopa didn't stand a chance. But now we get to roll the dice on another multiform Pokemon, Necrozma. Ace has no favored type, so I literally cannot predict it. Which one will it be? It's Dawn Wings, so yet again it has 2 weaknesses to Dark. Actually, it's Ultra. Because of that drop from double weak to single, Ultra Necrozma survives Sucker Punch and beats Mawile with Earth Power. Vanilluxe snows out the Sudden Dragon as you'd expect, but Ace's ace, Delphox, is coming to eat the ice cream. But it will instead eat Tectonic Rage and get a terrible stomachache. Gardevoir next though is an issue with Mawile already down. It's really unfortunate that one Earthquake failed to kill, and after Psyshock rocks Camerupt, Ace made my Trick Room disappear. I give up Vanilluxe after switching first to Slowbro for a regen, but going back to Slowbro afterwards has Ace yank Shiny Gardevoir for Shiny Gallade. Trick Room went up beforehand, but she has nothing great for the actually Mega Gallade, taking her Psychic and answering with Leaf Blade to beat Slowbro. Thankfully, Drampa has the power of a powered-up Dragon Pulse to defeat the Gallade Knight, then Hyper Voice the Gardevoir he guarded, in order to win on the first try. With the headlining act finished, Ace proves you have to have eyes of fire to get into show business. Can we take the heat of Burning Field and prove ourselves too? Sigilyph out front, you'd think Houndoom has this. No, Sigilyph went first and cut down Houndoom with a critical Air Slash. Holy shit, that's crazy fast. Slowbro dodges flinching off the same move to Trick Room, but there's no Surf on her. Well, let's boost her Flamethrower and see if that kills. No to that too. Only half is taken from Sigilyph, and Slowbro faints. Camerupt unleashes his own fire move to take out Ace's first Pokemon, as the Magician then decides to encore the same encounter as last battle. Delphox shows up, Camerupt Tectonic Rages it, next Pokemon. That would be Lugia. Oh, I really wish I could get rid of these flames so Vanilluxe would hit it with full power. As it is, he stands there surviving Psychics from the Lugia for a long time, but his Blizzards do incredibly poor damage, and he is knocked out first. And just when I thought a Sucker Punch would floor the Lugia, it roosted. Mawile tried her best, but with Trick Room leaving the stage, there's nothing she could do to defeat the Lugia while her feet were on fire. Camerupt's Rock Slide does way less than you'd hope, especially as Ruse keeps undoing my progress. He eventually falls, and a Thunder from Drampa is an inch away from getting rid of the horrible flyer. And I tell you, that Lugia was the biggest pain in the ass, like it always is. As well, that opener Sigilyph didn't kill Houndoom unless it crit, but it could also flinch Houndoom. After 3 more losses, I decided to lead my team with Greninja, while Vanilluxe stopped being a snowball in hell. But his entire reason for being here, to survive or outspeed, then use Surf to kill the Burning Field, is utterly thrown out when he's one-shot by a non-crit Air Slash. But then I discovered that Mawile can just sucker punch the damn Sigilif once and beat it. Next up was another high-powered enemy that was way too hard to kill without losing some of my own, Victini. But Drampa then arrived and had one spectacular turn. He survived Victini's V-Create, went berserk, fired back a surf that crit to kill Victini. Of course, I said one turn, because his life orb then took the rest of his HP. But at least the burning field is gone. I have to do Trick Room now, so Slowbro goes out, but Lugia appeared and did the worst thing. Took a long time killing Slowbro, while barely taking damage so that most of that Trick Room was wasted. It has leftovers, which makes me going for a lot of swords dances on Mawile dangerous. But after only one, she launches herself at the Lugia with Play Rough and breaks it. This led into another shiny ace obtained, Reuniclus. Oh, you think you'll anti-Trick Room me? Here's a more powerful sucker punch than you saw in the previous attempts. I could have left Mawile there to do the same to Delphox, but I decided I already know that Tectonic Rage kills, so we do that again. But last from Ace proves I should have just swept with Sucker Punch. Alakazam. Which is what I say, and the fight ends. Terrible. Just because of Lugia. Vanillix returns to my party for Ace's next trick, Half-Tossed Coin. We delve into a dark crystal cavern for this and meet a Gengar skulking in the dark. But is it a Gengar? No, it's a Zoroark. That one survived Houndoom's Dark Pulse and launched a Focus Blast back. Wow! Dark Crystal kept Houndoom alive, and then, even when his next Dark Pulse didn't finish the Zoroark, it then flinched. That was crazy lucky, letting us finish off the Zoroark. Then the Gengar comes back, and we get even more insane luck. It also lived through Dark Pulse, but also flinched. But after defeating the Spectre, we are told that next will be another Gengar. Why? It appears, and we blast it with Dark Pulse to do the same thing as the last one, where it lived, and this time didn't flinch, so it takes down Houndoom. I have Mawile Sucker Punch the Grinning Ghost, only to then be told again, Ace is going to send out Gengar. But when I throw a Sucker Punch at this third Gengar, it does something different. Mega Evolve. Mawile Sucker Punch cannot deck the Mega Gengar, and she feints the Shadow Ball. Now we are truly hosed. There's not one single way Slowbro Trick Room's in the face of that monster. What we do, though, is have Drampa dodge a Focus Blast. This luck is unbelievable. But this is when Ace inadvertently ruined their own magic trick, because out next is another Zoroark. 3 Gengars and 2 Zoroarks? Well, it's actually 3 of each. And horribly, this second one only had to Nasty Plot in front of Vanillix, survive his Blizzard, and undo all the good luck I got in this fight. It sweeps the entire rest of my team. What a complete shame. And now you see the strategy, right? As long as the Mega Gengar stays back, you literally have no idea if it is really a Gengar or a Zoroark. You have to toss that coin. Once again, I have Vanillix sit this one out so that Heracross can come out to the first absolutely must-be a Zoroark and pummel it down. What's terrible is that it went for Nasty Plot first because it had a Focus Sash. Oh no, it's going to do the same thing. I decide to sacrifice Drampa in order for Mawile to do my only priority move to prevent that sweep. But now we have to guess. Gengar or not Gengar? That is the question. But I put Heracross back out and go for Shadow Claw, and I get paid off. Not only was it the Mega Gengar again, but it was faster and only used that turn to go for Nasty Plot, at which point Heracross came in with a Shadow Claw and tore down the Ghost type. If Shift Mode tells you it's Zoroark, then it is. So Heracross stays out there. Sadly, she can't do this forever. She gets hit with a Shadow Ball for over half first, before clocking the Illusionist on break. This leads to the third Zoroark, and I decide I have to know if Slowbro can survive a Dark Pulse. She can't. I don't know if Mawile can survive the Zoroark's attack, so I go to Houndoom to try Heat Waving it instead. It doesn't even do half, but Houndoom apparently is tossing his own coin and winning constantly. He dodges a Focus Blast, then Heat Waves to almost kill, then dodged another one. He hits the third Heat Wave in a row, and there are no more Zoroarks, only 2 Gengars. 2 Gengars, 2 Sucker Punches. and the fight is won. That could have been a horrible fight had Ace not kept tapping their Mega so quickly. Ace goes from a shadowy swindler to a technological trickster. Oh no, Glitchfield. Oh no, Primarina. Oh no! Skull didn't kill Destiny Bonding Houndoom! This horrendous seal then amnesia'd while Houndoom left for Mawile, nearly killed her with a scald while Mawile swords danced, and normal type Sucker Punch, a boon in this moment, failed to kill. We kill Primarina with normal pulse, only for yet again, one of the most horrible opponents on Glitchfield to arrive. Lunala. I put out Vanillix basically to just make it possible for Houndoom to Destiny Bond, but he does a taunt to stop workup from happening more than once. Sadly, he was already too late to survive the next critting Psyshock. Houndoom returns with his little HP to Destiny Bond the Moon Legendary, and then Xerneas showed up. Are you fucking kidding me? I never carry around poison moves. The only thing that will work well against that on Glitchfield. Then things get way worse when it uses a power herb to do a one-turn Geomancy for a double-stage special and speed boost. I use Trick Room and Psychic in vain as it horn leeches back all the HP it lost, then a Tectonic Rage fails to kill through its unbuffed defense. Remarkably, Drampa came out and was able to survive an attack to take it down with Hyper Voice, but we are at the tail end of a Trick Room with Hail falling, and next up is this rainbow-colored Mega Deontay. Even if Drampa had killed it with Surf, which he almost did, his Life Orb does him in. Holy shit. This feels like I could have spoke too soon about Stockfish malfunction. I don't remember this fight at all, but it has all the same hallmarks of suffering as Radimus's top team. How many tries is this going to take? The answer is one more. It requires me to start with Vanillix up front against Primarina with a new addition to the party, but him defeating Primarina is not too important. And then he goes and defeats it anyway, by hitting with a Freeze Dry twice while I use Amnesia and then hit him with Scald. The Clutch Master survives with 14 HP to attack a third time and kill the damn Primarina. This then brings me to Lunala, who I know I just have to Destiny Bond, but it's pretty obvious Houndoom won't be killed by one attack from it, but neither will Slowbro. So I trick the Lunala to use Workup again, as Slowbro then switches over to Houndoom immediately. Now he'll take the Moongeist Beam, and still not die. Come on. I have an option here. I'll switch to Drampa because that'll make Moongeist Beam failed, but I need to put Houndoom back in there. I don't want to give up Vanillix yet. He'll be needed for something again even at that low HP. So I gamble that Lunala tries to work up again. Instead, it used Psyshock, which whiffs on Houndoom returning, and the Destiny Bond hits the Lunala and we are rid of it. That was a ridiculous set of turns. It's then that the hail stopped and my preserving of Vanillix was paid off. Xerneas returns to Vanillix, who starts the hail back up, taunts it only after it Geomancied, then falls. All to give the floor to the first answer I came up with for Xerneas. I've seen it so goddamn much already, and I've been using a Snow Warning Pokemon for the entire game. So why the hell haven't I used Alolan Sandslash equipped with Poison Jab? Except that this build-up then deflates when the Xerneas is still faster than the Slush Rush Slash, does a lot with Horn Leech, and then doesn't even lose half the Poison Jab. Well, this stinks. Now Slowbro has to Trick Room while it starts up a second Geomancy. It can't expedite that one, so it gives Camerupt the chance to switch in and prepare to throw his Z move. The hail may not have helped Sandslash like I expected, but it helped nonetheless. The Xerneas was pelted by it for long enough that Tectonic Rage killed it. But we're still pretty far behind, as Ace kept that mascot of the team he was working for, Minior. I have plenty of moves to hit its weaknesses, until I don't. Synthetic Seed, no more types. Fuck, this is horrible. Then I misplayed badly by using Hyper Voice on Drampa, which is currently a physical move. But a responding Acrobatics only does one thing. Make Drampa mad. He then fires the Surf that it is usually weak to, and the Minior is taken down. It makes it so that Ace's faithful partner Delphox is helpless against Surf as well, bringing us to the end against that same Mega Deontay. But we saw this show before. Berserk Surf from Drampa left Deontay on a pixel, and a Diamond Storm finishes him off. It was thanks to Trick Room holding on for this long that Slowbro could return and launch another Surf, and we somehow beat this in 2 tries. I was so sure I was going to agonize over this fight and the monstrous usual suspects of Glitchfield, but not this time. So throughout this game, Ace has gone to great lengths to get shinies for their team. It shows that they are really fashion forward. To be honest, I don't know why this has to be a chess game. Ace leads with a shiny in this soon-to-be soul-crushing doubles match. Bisharp, next to Alakazam. The first turn should have been a matter of hitting both enemies with Heat Wave and Earthquake from Houndoom and Camerupt, but of course my slow Camel was knocked down to 1 HP with Sucker Punch and Alakazam finished him with Psychic. That Psychic type decided to dodge the Heat Wave while Bisharp went down to its 1 HP from the Pawn effect. I am bailed out from that bastard's further Sucker Punches when it got burned and fainted. King Mawile comes out to Ace's King, Duskmane Necrozma. The corrupted Solgaleo was first hit by my King's Sucker Punch for most of its health, as it then chops Houndoom with Brick Break. However, he didn't even need to use his Pawn Sash for it. He then hits both opponents with Heat Wave to this time hurt Alakazam and take out Necrozma. But then, Mawile gets crit by a Shadow Ball from Alakazam. That doesn't mean she fainted though. That's really good that she survived the attack, because it allows her to kill Alakazam easily, and Houndoom's Heat Wave softens the now arriving Bronzong. However, it was still in a bell shape enough to respond with Rock Slide and stop Houndoom from doing that again. Mawile's still going. To my Slowbro coming in, Ace sends out his assistant Delphox for the 4th time today, who is a Bishop. I want Trick Room because Mawile can't beat both of those enemies with her crown. I figure Delphox is the worst of the two, even though Bronzong is likely the anti-Trick Room me. But regardless, Delphox was knocked down in 1 hit, and Mawile still didn't die. She lived a Gyro Ball with a scrap. This is great too, because a Mega Deontay is coming out as Ace's last. It is turned to Diamond Powder from 1 Iron Head, but Bronzong proceeds to make this as difficult as possible. It Rock Slides, killing Mawile and making Slowbro flinch instead of using Flamethrower. It's actually even slower than Drampa, but it is alone and only went for Zen Headbutt on Drampa. This lets in 2 Flamethrowers, and I won this in 1 try? That's crazy! An unexpected double chess match, yet I came out on top almost solely because of a burn on Bisharp at the very beginning. Also, side note, I would have thought that battle was called Fashion Forward because Ace used Pokemon that are all quote-unquote wearing clothes, but I don't think Bronzong qualifies. This brings us to the last theme team today, and one of the very last ones at all. There are literally less than 10 still to go in the game. This theme team is named after that one thing that Ace sought above all else. Family. It takes place upon that field that Ace's former boss used to rule from. Holyfield. Ace begins with Glaceon to Houndoom, strongly favoring me. However, its Focus Sash turns the tables and it one-shots Houndoom with Hyper Voice. Sucker Punch out Glaceon, and in comes that former boss's signature Pokemon, for the 100th time. Garchomp. Slowbro got to Trick Room because it used Swords Dance, which will suck for whoever has to take that hit, probably Slowbro. Indeed, though she Psychics half of Garchomp's HP, it Earthquakes for all of hers. Vanillix does what he does best, and now that we have Trick Room, we can hopefully change the tempo. Another evolution will emerge now, one we've seen alongside Glaceon before, Umbreon. You'll start to realize who these Pokemon are representing. While Mawile beats down the Dark type with Play Rough. Then comes the ace of the Prince, Chatot. One Blizzard turns the bird into a popsicle. Then of course, we have the 3rd EV of that person who was once 3 people, Espeon. It cannot withstand Sucker Punch either, but then the best Pokemon is sent out last. Not best because of power or anything, best because it exemplifies what theme teams are all about. The last Pokemon is Mega Altaria. For Ace, representing their one known blood family, Vanillix can defeat it with Blizzard. No need to gloat over first trying this send-up of the people Ace cared for. But this does bring an end to the theme teams today, and unfortunately for Ace, they did not make it into the leaderboard. It would have been good then if I had bothered to show it last time. It's stupid that of course last time, it did change unlike today. But all that amounted to was Blake's console defrag team just extending the tie at the bottom for 6 attempts another spot further, making the leaderboard a top 8. Now let's go run through the pavilion and find a new boss. Today it's going to be... who is this? Seems like he speaks Spanish. Well, one thing I know, it's definitely not Mewtwo. The strange man in the trench coat, hat, and sunglasses with mustache leads with a Probopass. Something easy for Greninja to hit, but one surf isn't enough, but neither is its discharge. Greninja doesn't get paralyzed and beats the nosy Pokemon, as Mr. Knot brings out an Amoonguss. That's good too, Ice Beam that one, and it dies in one hit. This leads into the Mystery Man, who is definitely not Mewtwo, sending out definitely is Mewtwo. What? That's not fair. Legendaries are banned in this format. Yeah? Well, so are Megas. But this guy doesn't seem to like following rules, as he does both. Mega Mewtwo X. The last of the 780 legendaries at long last. It makes the Dark Pulse Greninja just used no longer possible to one-shot, and then horribly, Frieza then Drain Punches Greninja to knock him out and go back to nearly full HP. But man, Talonflame is super useful right here. His Gale Wings Brave Bird with Flying Gem has more than enough power to eviscerate Mewtwo X and defeat definitely not Mewtwo. Hey, that's a Mewtwo! Yeah, surprise, we started one of the quests. This was a supposed guy loitering around in here that Anastasia mentioned. Having exposed the ultimate psychic legendary as a Pokemon and not a human, it then turns and takes off through the ceiling. The attendant nearby is confused and wishes to never speak of this again. Talking to Anastasia again, though, gets her to report that since the Mewtwo in clothes fled the scene, a new reading of the New World variety appeared deep under Tanzan Mountain. So we're going to pursue that Mewtwo now, right? No. No. We have other quests to take care of. Everything to put off that misery. We were told by Randall last episode that another new door showed up in Barrel Cave. Head there, which gets you to unavoidably pass by the cemetery once more. And by now, this is a place filled with the names I know that you now know too. Proceed into the cave nearby, choosing not to go up the rock climb walls. Past the first Nuzleaf cave, you'll find the way into the new world. You'll reach a place called the Cité Prisma, which currently seems to be undergoing a rapid day-night cycle. Walk forward up the stairs and through these arches just like the ones we found at the Cité Astra, and find a friend of ours, Sarah, who isn't the least bit shy to ask for our help the instant we arrive. She then explains why darkness and light are cyclically taking over this room. It's because they are literally battling to the north, thanks to Luna and Elias. She says that the two of them started fighting pretty much as soon as they all got here, and Sarah pleads that we do something to keep her vision from being any more damaged. She goes on to say that a puzzle mechanism is here in this room, but it doesn't function under the current circumstances. We have to walk up the other 2 flights of stairs to the left and right to reach where a straight-up beam struggle is taking place. On the left is Luna with her Umbreon. Speaking with her, she tells her side of the story, that the man across from her appeared to try to tell Luna how to live her life. She does not accept him, and apologizes that she is inconveniencing us, saying she will dispatch with him shortly. Upon saying this, Luna's Cheshire Cat appears to take the edge over the opposing Noivern, and the room darkens uniformly. When I return to Sarah, the Ice Leader thanks me for getting them to at least spare us the light show. That's when she reveals that she was the reason they're fighting. All she wanted to do was some of that good old parenting, and figured that perhaps, if she asked Luna and Elias here together, they maybe could have some bonding time. She learned her lesson now, she assures us, and asks if we can at least get this mess to stop. Head over to hear it from Elias's perspective, who apologizes to us for such a display of violence. Remember, he thinks we're Arceus. He calls the quarrel with his daughter senseless, but explains that he had come to realize that by just living for the sake of others, that basically boils down to avoidance of responsibilities. He now takes the burden of having taught this mindset to Luna upon himself, and says now he must correct it. He wishes her to seek her own ideals. How paradoxical. She wishes nothing more than that, yet she does so through serving. With the belief I am bolstering him, his Noivern gains the advantage in the struggle, and the room is brighter now. If you go to talk to Luna again now, then her Umbreon forces the beam back and darkness reigns. It is in darkness that you want to start this puzzle. Return to the center of the room where Sarah is, and look now upon the field of objects here. There are several angled mirrors, bushes, rocks, and a central crystal along with 4 other crystals. The puzzle begins when you touch that central pillar. As soon as you do, as long as the room is dark, then 2 spheres of light will emerge from the pillar and head north and east. They travel off-screen and nothing happens, but you'll notice that one of these slanted mirrors looks slightly different than the others. That's because you can push that one around, though once you do, you'll notice it leave behind a strange silhouette. The object of the game is simple at first. Use the mirror to bounce the motes of light into the crystals sitting on the floor around here. I first position it to the right of the center crystal, so that the eastbound light refracts south to land on this crystal, which turns it purple. That's when you'll learn that we will yet once more use the 4 cardinal crystals of Iolia Valley to finish a puzzle. The amethyst crystal in the southeast has the function of reverting the mirror you moved back to where the silhouette was. Put that mechanic out of your mind for a moment, and instead move the mirror a couple spots over to have it reflect the northern light to the left and activate the blue crystal. As has happened several times before, the sapphire creates bridges in this room to cross over. One to the east, though, is further blocked by green bushes, so you know what crystal we'll need for that. To the north is another bridge, across which we'll find a Z-cell blocked by a red rock, and an orb of light that is currently stationary. Take it and return to the puzzle field and find the second step. Another mirror just arrived. This one is angled to the northeast, and Sarah nearby gives us the hint that we can now reach the bottom left crystal. She goes on to explain more points to know about the puzzle. With the exception of the amethyst crystal, if you fire the lights, then any active crystals turn back off, meaning things like the sapphire bridges will dissipate. We'll need to activate more than 1 crystal at a time in order to progress further. What's more, there are a couple more rules. The mirrors cannot be moved if the lights are in motion, unless you use the purple crystal. That will bring the mirrors back to their home spots. She gives you the last hint that we should be able to bounce a light off the same mirror twice. So, these silhouettes signify a mirror's home spot, but how useful can they be? As of now, these homes are nowhere that they can help us. Well, have you yet wondered what Elias's role is in this puzzle? The lights can only be fired while Luna is winning in the DBZ battle nearby, but if Elias takes the lead, then go move the mirrors around. Doing so, then turning the lights back off, you'll discover this is how you get the mirrors to move their homes. The silhouettes are set when you make the room dark, so that in the darkness, the purple crystal will snap the mirrors back to those spots. Now in order to advance, you need to make sure ahead of time that you have already powered up the amethyst gem so that you are able to activate it during this next flight. Place the down left facing mirror above the pillar so the north light bounces west, then reflects off the static mirror to go south. But there's some action to this puzzle. As soon as the light has hit the first mirror, activate the violet crystal, and that mirror snaps immediately over to the silhouette. While Elias lit the room, make sure you had placed the 2 mirrors side by side on the left edge of the dance floor, such that the light would bounce south from the immovable mirror into the upright mirror. Then use the purple crystal to teleport the first mirror right next to it, and it will send the light downwards to land on the emerald crystal. Activating it right away does what we've seen green magical gems do before: turn plants into rocks. Now smash all of the rocks around this area, which will keep them from respawning. By doing this, you've now given yourself access to a third, westbound sphere of light every time you activate the center pillar. But at this point, you're not allowed to cross over to the right where 2 more rock bushes lay. You need to hit 2 crystals in the same light volley. What you need to do first is reload your amethyst crystal. Once that's done, you can actually use the same silhouette homes to complete the next step. Simply put the southwest facing mirror back where it was for the green crystal path, but push the other mirror one space to the right on the other mirror's home. Fire the lights and watch carefully. The new westbound light will reflect north into the blue crystal, while the upper light will reflect left towards the path you just did. The moment both lights have bounced off the first mirrors, slap the purple crystal, and both mirrors get in position to send the light on to its emerald destination. Now you have both blue and green available, so activate them and head right to destroy 2 more bushes. Climb up to the top of the room and find another orb of light. You guessed it, mirror number 3. Sarah has more information. Namely, what are we actually doing here? Well, there's a door to the north, which you might have already noticed looks awfully similar to a door of significant story relevance. Each time we lit up one of the crystals here, we lit up the corresponding part of that door. So of course, the goal was to light all 4 crystals at once. We can't possibly light 4 crystals with 3 lights though, so we have more work to do. With an extremely simple setup, move the new northwest facing mirror to the right of the pillar and the original mirror to the top, such that you activate the blue crystal and the new red one. But be warned, doing this will make the red rocks in this room swap to different positions in the room. For some reason, one of those is in the same spot as the topmost mirror we just used, rendering it immobile. What this has done for us though is unlock the Z cell across the river by the door. I found there was no way to fix the mirror unless I had the purple crystal charged, and since I didn't, you'll instead need to step out of the new world and the mirrors will rearrange themselves, the red rocks returning to their initial modes of existence. Fortunately, the green rocks have not grown back. To continue, make sure the room is dark and get an amethyst charge in reserve. Light the room back up to now situate the mirrors where you want them to teleport to when you use that amethyst power. You'll want them to all be on the same horizontal row. The first 2 back where they were when we did the last step, and the third one on the right to bounce upwards into the ruby crystal. Now dim the lights and move only the southwest facing crystal to the spot where it can bounce the light heading up to the left, the same emerald path we did before. You don't need the blue crystal yet for this. Now fire the lights, wait for the northern one to bounce, then use the amethyst crystal, and you'll now get both red and green lit up. Hit them both, and walk left to the bridge that has been blocked by red rock and green shrub. Now it's green rock and red outline. This gives you access to the last unmoving orb of light and the final mirror. A mirror you'll discover as you return to Sarah is shattered. Sarah shakes her head at how it couldn't be easy, of course. We'll have no way of hitting all 4 crystals with only 3 mirrors. She's very down on this entire endeavor now, saying it was all a letdown, like usual, and that broken mirrors don't do anything for anyone. But if you were to defy Sarah's pessimism and try anyway, you'll see that she won't get out of the way of the westward light, and that it redirected north from her. She realized it, and confirms she felt that, and gives us the strangest instruction: use her as the last mirror. Okay, I want that in writing. What it means is, not only can Sarah act as a mirror, but she can also be made to face any direction to send the light in that direction, making her even more versatile than the other existing mirrors. Now you'll come to the final stage of the puzzle. We have to activate the red crystal to move the red rocks around the room into a new configuration. It is only while these rocks are moved that the southern end of the pillar is unblocked, giving us the 4th beam of light to use to solve the puzzle. So this means we must complete the room while the rocks are positioned like this, which you'll notice on the bottom right of the room that this has made all of our previous configurations useless. We'll have to learn an entirely new setup, but first, we need purple power. The northeast mirror must be placed on the tile between the amethyst crystal and the red rock to the left of it. The original southwest mirror must be placed just above it to intercept the eastward light. That gives us the amethyst charge we need, now to set up the room under the light of Elias. You'll need to take your time to plan where you'll need these mirrors to warp to. Remember, you want to set them up where you want them last, not first. It'd be a good idea to save after getting the purple crystal powered up, but don't save again afterwards. It will be easier to reset to the beginning of the setup if you don't have to redo the purple charging again. Something to keep in mind is that Sarah does not let you push her around while the others can see us. It took me several tries to make it work, but in the end, Here is the pre-darkness configuration you'll need. The northeast mirror is still in the lower right where the amethyst crystal is. You should know, even though it's already active, you're going to need to activate the purple crystal in this same volley along with the others, because you'll obviously need to use it before the volley is done traveling. The southwest mirror is directly above it and right of the pillar. The northwest facing mirror is directly beneath the ruby gem and above the red rock just below that crystal. Now for the nighttime shuffle. Move the northwest mirror to the bottom of the area so that the southern light will hit it and redirect to the left crystal. The mirror that is sitting 3 squares to the right of it will go all the way to the left edge of the room so that it will usher the west light to the north to the blue crystal. As for Sarah, bully her into position just above the pillar so that she is facing towards the silhouette of the northwest mirror. The light that shines through her will activate the ruby crystal. Everything is in position. All that you need now is good timing. The 4 spheres of light will fire, and you want to wait until the western one, almost completely off screen, is moving upwards. Slam the crystal right then, and the mirrors will all warp to save the remaining orbs of light. With this, the doorway onwards has been unsealed. Sarah is stunned that it happened after all, and realizes she gave up too soon. Sarah tells us we should probably expect an anomaly in there, while planning to go and try and stop Luna and Elias from pointing their Pokemon at each other's heads. Use the blue crystal once more to cross the bridge and access the room beyond. Congratulations! With this, every single major puzzle in the game is now complete. From this point on, the only things that will stand between you and victory are battles. But oh dear God, the battles that do remain. Head north through these arches to one such battle, making sure you have saved your game and turned on your reset counter. Because when you mount the stairs, you're going to discover which anomaly is waiting for you. Necrozma. But it isn't Necrozma that is most interesting in this room. That would be the object the Necrozma is standing upon, as the god Devil Girl then comes in to announce, "We have found the meteor of Arceus." Indeed, the meteor that we were told would be encrusted with the same cardinal color crystals we've seen all game is here. Lynn reveals that not only is this the meteor, it's been in this spot the entire time, which was very, very close to where I battled with the doll Lynn when the New World first opened. She says she based this place off the real world equivalent, even though that place no longer exists. Naturally, what is also gone from here is herself, and in place of her is the Prism Pokemon, which gets her to think, this fight has to do some light show shenanigans. And then the rainbows start. My eyes are really hurting from this quest already. After giving you no choice about how awesome you think this is, even if you hit cancel this time, she then turns around and asks, does she really want to put forth the effort of doing this rainbow effect for the battle? Now, you do have a choice. You can tell Lynn to stop it with the rainbow and let the battle take place on Crystal Cavern. However, you should think hard about that choice. If you tell Lynn to take down the disco balls and proceed on Crystal Cavern, you're going to remember quickly the one Pokemon that is heavily favored there. Yeah, it's the one that's currently standing on the meteor. Necrozma's home field is Crystal Cavern, boosting its ability Prism Armor so that it takes 25% less damage from all moves, and buffing its signature move Photon Geyser while subjecting its Prismatic Laser to the Crystal type mechanic. Therefore, it seems highly practical to indulge Lynn in continuing with the colorful antics. Regardless of where you do it, you must now defeat Necrozma. And we now come to one of those dreadful fights, one where if you use shift mode like I do, you'll find it pretty much useless. The first Pokemon out from the start is the very form of Necrozma that we saw standing on the meteor, Base Necrozma. Pure Psychic type. I would normally love Houndoom being up front, but Rainbow Field isn't going to make this much easier than Crystal Cavern. Dark Pulse, specifically, is half as powerful here, so I forego it for Destiny Bond. It started with Light Screen. Next turn, Stealth Rock. Third turn, completely ignore Houndoom's third Destiny Bond and switch for Duskmane Necrozma. Fourth turn, Swords Dance. Finally, Houndoom uses his last Destiny Bond and sticks the landing when Dusk used Earthquake. Perfect. I'm totally looking forward to spamming 5 Destiny Bonds every attempt after this. What was nice about that idiocy was that light screen already faded. Base Krozma returns to put it back up maybe. It first takes Mawile's Sucker Punch to then kill her with Heat Wave. Now it put the screen back up in front of Drampa, but it was not tough enough to hold back his boosted Hyper Voice that also rolled a weakness and a crit. 2 forms of Necrozma down, but another is coming in now. Have to assume it is Dawn Wings for dramatic purposes. It is, but then I find out that my other move to use against Necrozmas, Shadow Ball, is also nerfed by name. Drampa never gets a chance to fire anything anyway, he's decimated by Photon Geyser. Then a critical Moongeist beam from the Luna Krozma vaporizes Slowbro and Camerupt with no recourse. As for my last, Shedinja, well, the Stealth Rock spelled its doom from the start. Well, this isn't good. Shedinja isn't probably going to help. And really, neither is Houndoom. I let them set up all they want using Destiny Bond while his Dark Pulse will never be useful here. So I send them both away for Hariyama and Aegislash. Slowbro now takes the front spot to Trick Room in front of the non-offense Krozma. Instead of then using her poor Shadow Ball against it, I try switching to Hariyama. That's when it turned on its offense, and Hariyama is turned to smoke with Photon Geyser. Distressingly, a Shadow Claw from Aegislash only takes half from the legendary before Heatwave fuses my sword and shield together. Mawile can punch down the Necrozma this time, but my guess that Duskmane was on its way again is wrong. Dawn Wings. A Tectonic Rage doesn't even get it under half, and another Geyser launches Camerupt. Thankfully, my currently triple damage Sucker Punch from Prism Armor is enough to kill Dawn Wings, and this one is definitely going to be Duskmane. It is this time, and Drampa meets it with Flamethrower. It does under half too, but Drampa can actually survive Sunsteel Strike, losing enough HP to get steaming mad. Flamethrower 2 takes down a third version of Necrozma, but the fourth and final version isn't next. Instead, this bastard anomaly decided to bring the true version of one of its forms, Lunala. Fuck, we just lost Trick Room, and Slowbro absolutely could not put another one up. I'm so sure that Sucker Punch can't kill the Shadow Shield legend. Was I so sure? Well, the critical hit killed it! But before drawing its other unknown weapon, the last Necrozma is coming out now. That, of course, is the true form of Necrozma, which it unleashes with Ultra Burst. Ultra Necrozma. Playrough is selected to battle it, but I had not remembered that I was without Trick Room now. Earth Power shows Mawile the devastating strength of the Neuroforce Pokemon. With only a tired Drampa left, I choose not to make him suffer a death blow. We start this now with Aegislash instead, since Slowbro can't do anything with Trick Room right away. But even guarding against the Heat Wave makes her barely able to survive, and Shadow Claw only brings it down by a little over half when Life Orb then stole the rest of my sword's HP. Cool, throwing this attempt away. Now Slowbro is up front again, Trick Rooming, doing 5% damage with Shadow Ball, then switching to Aegislash to accept a Photon Geyser for half and then do the same amount of damage with Shadow Claw before dying. Then Hariyama gets to actually attack with a knockoff, only for the empty-handed Necrozma to still live. It had used a seed at the beginning to up special attack and make a wish. Hariyama is blasted again. Drampa can take that last scrap away after Light Screen disappeared, but Soul Krozma came out next to Mawile. Her Sucker Punches are terrible, and she dies to 2 Earthquakes. And then the 2/3 damage she had done is undone by the wish it had made being granted. No. Another try with Trick Room into Shadow Claw leaves me with Mawile also failing to strike down first Krozma with Sucker Punch, and she died to Heat Wave. Hariyama can get a kill because the opponent had 10% health left, then Camerupt meets Duskmane and is only able to survive 1 Earthquake because he burned with Lava Plume. He doesn't kill it though either. Oh, its wish came true again and my Trick Room left me. I hate this. I go to Drampa, who is able to take 1 Sunsteel to Flamethrower, then a Photon Geyser as well to get angry and completely burn up the Lion Krozma. Dawn Wings comes back and makes short work of the rest of my team. Okay, this is really not working. I'm completely unsure of what to do against this team, when I think, why am I so afraid of Crystal Cavern? Yeah, it buffs Necrozma. You know what else it does? Dies to Earthquake. I can shatter the crystals and make it into a cave. It's not like Camerupt has much to do in this battle so far otherwise. Choosing the other option before battle has Lynn scratched the record and says she's not feeling the rainbows, and we begin again on Necrozma's home turf. Sadly, the start of the fight is the exact same, with Necrozma destroying Aegislash before she could attack a second time. I then think about whether I can kill Necrozma with Tectonic Rage or Earthquake, settling on Special Tech Rage. And it still survived. The Crystal Cavern is gone now, but so is Camerupt. Right now this is feeling like it's going just as badly, but Mawile knocks out the first Necrozma. Necro Leo shows up second to be flamethrowered twice by Drampa to faint, and then my Raging Dragon fires a Shadow Ball at Lunala to almost kill it immediately. It fires back and Drampa's done, but Mawile can punch the bat to death. We're out of Trick Room again, but the other real form that Necrozma stole is also here. Solgaleo. If there's any Pokemon that Slowbro can survive for Trick Room, it'll be that. She goes out, but Rock Slide comes at her. She flinches, but she doesn't die to 2 Rock Slides, and Trick Room restarts. What's sick is that her next attack was Flamethrower, which did over half and burned. Because of that, a third Rock Slide no longer had the power to kill her, and her Flamethrower finishes off the Solar Legendary. But what sucks now is that the last 2 Pokemon remaining are both Necrozmas that start in the Dawn Wings form. It's not possible to know which it is now until I've selected a move. In that case, the only move I can select that will hit either one for super effective damage is Sucker Punch. We find out this was Dawn Wings, and without a Shadow Shield, its 1.5 times weakness to Dark is its downfall. But we have one more left. And Bright Light bursts out of the second Dawn Wings to reveal Ultra Necrozma once again. But unlike last time, there was a Trick Room surrounding it. All that I need is Play Rough to find its mark. That's it! The Golden Dragon is slain. Wow, I completely thought wrong about the field effect to fight on. 5 straight losses on Rainbow Field, which I should have gone and looked, also gave it additional defense with Prism Armor. The actual play was to get into a cave, then all the Necrozmas became much easier to beat. Now we have to try and catch the Prism Pokemon Shiny. However, I got nervous to damage it down past half HP when I lowered its special defense, and no matter how much I begged, the glitter balls would not stay on it. I was reduced to only Mawile, and I had to give up the dream of shiny Necrozma. You, though, can see all 4 of its shiny forms here. There are some cool designs here. You've seen shiny Duskmane with its purple mane, and Ultra Necrozma with the multicolored wings and gray body. Meanwhile, both Dawn Wings and base Necrozma get rainbow prisms attached to them, along with making the wings on Dawn gold and red. I love the way these look. We have concluded our fight with Necrozma, and Lynn has already taken off. The meteor that Solaris and his family had guarded for generations lays still. No one left to watch over it, and no god remaining that called it home. Return to the previous room and find out that Sarah has done what she thought was impossible. She has made Luna and Elias relent from their fighting. The 2 stand side by side as Sarah asks them when we come back reporting our success if the 2 of them will behave. While Luna kind of snarkily responds that behaving could mean an infinite number of actions, she will kindly respect Sarah's wishes. All she wants is that her choices are understood and respected in turn. This is when Elias then speaks up and admits what he has learned from this. He knows now that the role of missionary is not his to play. He should not try to impose his beliefs on others, even if he thinks it should help them. He knows that Luna can find her own way better than he can lead her, though he is still of the mind that she became this way because of him. But she chides him then for thinking that the way she is came about entirely because of him. She asks if no one is really capable of wanting to support others genuinely. He can't deny it. This is when Sarah then presses about that one bit of closure, their actual relationship. This is when Luna finally acknowledges out loud to Elias that he is her father. But she then states that he is not family. He answers that he understands plainly. With that, she turns to leave, but stops, and says that perhaps someday that can change. Elias prays for such a thing, thinking that time can heal any wound, but believes he has insufficient time and would rather try to take responsibility instead. The father and daughter, now less than fully estranged, leave the Cité Prisma, as Sarah then concludes that this trip was worthwhile. No one died, another anomaly has been tamed, and those two are closer than before. And she has magical mirror powers, maybe. Sarah says now, it feels rather nice to believe. She leaves now too, and we should as well. After, we take care of two more things. First, head over to the right side over the Sapphire Bridge, break the two green crystals again, and press against the wall. Apparently you should have noticed this extremely subtle difference in the tiles and found this secret cubby with a Z-cell in it. Second, and much more importantly, get out your fishing rod and cast it into the river in this room. With a magnetic lure equipped, you'll fish up the most inappropriate fishing target yet. Pheromosa. Why in the hell is that something you fish up? It's bug and fighting. Anyway, catch the Ultra Beast, shiny if you can. That makes it wear these black leggings instead. I don't like mentioning that, to be honest. And with this, there is one more Ultra Beast to catch. At this point, the Cité Prisma is complete, and we move on to the next quest. The one that has been laying around the longest, waiting for us to fix it. It's time to return to the desert, to the portal near the train tracks that leads to the Zygarde construction facility. On the way, catch a shiny Exadrill. Once you access the portal to return to the alternate desert, do a couple things. First, go to this room if you hadn't already done so, and plug in 10 Z-cells to obtain the lowest power Zygarde. You should also go to the cell imprint room and obtain any imprints you don't already have. Finally, head back to where the consoles were that would unlock the way to 100% Zygarde, where we could have obtained 50% Zygarde a couple episodes ago. Walk down the hall after opening the first 5 shutters if you didn't already, and... It was nice knowing you, brain cells. Speak, whether you want to or not, to Terra. She sees us and wonders if this meeting in this far-off desert is destiny or a drug deal. Not sure why it isn't both when it comes to you. Terra then tells us why she came here. To show up Florinia. After mocking her robotic tone again...
Greetings. I mean shit, I forgot the word for hello, because I am still a fucking Roblox.
Hey, she's working on it. She mentions how hard Florinia failed to hack these computers. She admits how she's still salty about Labradora, and is going to show us she's the better hacker by dismantling this place. She demands we help. Oh, I'll help. Help! That's when Terra opens our eyes. These things before us look like computers, but they're not. The new world isn't smart enough to make real computers, and using conventional hacking methods is not very effective. But a giant hammer? That works much better. Terra knows how the intent of this place was to bring 100 Z-cells to access the exclusive back of the building. She says screw that. All she needs from us is 50% Zygarde. Well, I don't see a way around this. I'm still almost 40 cells away from ignoring you, so here we go. I use the console to her left and power up Zygarde to its snake form, then show it to Terra. If you didn't have Zygarde in your party, then that PC to the left has your back. Terra then takes the Zygarde and spins over to the hallway to move into the next phase of her master plan. Because if you wanted a second of a Pokemon when you leave it at a daycare, then all you need to do is leave it with a Ditto. Preferably one stolen from Elias, apparently. Despite legendaries not being breedable, it's not like logic stopped Terra ever before, and it isn't about to stop her now. Ditto transforms into Zygarde, and both of the 50% turn to the shutters, and they all open. The Chaos Party of 3 charge forward to see what's at the end of the hall, a sudden flash of light then emitting. That's your cue to save the game and add something else to your party since Zygarde just left a hole in it. Head down the hallway to find Terra, and apparently, our Zygarde has bonded with the Ditto Guard to actually form 100% Zygarde. But it won't be so simple as to just take the Order Pokemon with us. Lynn remotes into the room just then, getting a freaked out response from Terra. That's when Lynn speaks to the only person that she seemed to call friend to say thanks. Terra is happy to hear from the girl who previously ghosted her back when we de-umbrelled Terra, wondering how Lynn is talking to us right now. Lynn says of course it is through Arceus, but then reveals more succinctly what I really am. She tells Terra using Arceus is much easier than trying to speak through me. Lynn says it almost caused her to murder the hell out of Flora back when she wanted direct responses, among other reasons. Terra, though, is confused what she means by this, as Lynn tells her, like she has tried to make us believe, that I am a doll, just like the adult Lynn. This shocks Terra. Shocks her to her very core. Don't let me talk about Terra's core again. Lynn finally says enough. Not even you, Lynn, can tell Terra what to do. Lynn goes on to say that despite what an ugly, worthless nerd Terra was, geez, you talk to your one friend that way? She was more helpful than almost everyone else in the region. She came here to tell Terra thanks for standing by her, and to take back her Zygarde. But this is when Lynn seems to not give a shit as much about saying edgy crap and putting an anomaly on the legendary this time. So apparently, it can be so simple as to just take the order Pokemon with us, if we want it to be. Should Lynn anomalize the Zygarde? Does she seriously give us the option? Yeah, actually. If you say no, then you just skip the fight and get the Zygarde. But this is a review through, so I'm legally bound to say yes. Lynn tells Terra to stay out of the fight, as this is her protagonist time. No, you still won't get me to believe this. How can all I've been doing be only at your direction instead? But we have to fight this anomaly, regardless of who's in control. Anomaly Zygarde, though, is on Glitchfield. Fuck everything. Can I say no instead? Please, audience? It's horrible because the first Pokemon out is White Kyurem, and let's review its weaknesses. Those are normally Fighting, Rock, Dragon, Steel, and Fairy. And Glitchfield says, what's Steel and Fairy? So those are gone, and not only that, so is Dragon. Dragon attacks have no type interactions on Glitchfield, so you're reduced to Rock and Fighting. Oh yeah, remember, its 170 special attack is special defense too. Hideous. Well, I'm going to Destiny Bond that. No, I'm not. Blizzard, even neutral, can't kill Houndoom, and no, a freeze and lost turn does not persist Destiny Bond. It almost goes hysterically bad when Slowbro goes out next to get paralyzed by Dragon Breath and lose her turn, but she survives a second breath to Trick Room. Then she loses another turn and dies. Vanillix tries to beat the dragon with Neutral Blizzard. He cannot. Fusion Flare tries to kill Vanillix. It can. Camerupt comes in with the sole move that I have it's weak to, and Kyurem goes down after killing half my party. Now we get Offense Deoxys, who adores Glitchfield. Unlike the last time we saw it and it had its usual garbage defense, now the best defense is literally a good offense. Furthermore, it becomes no-typed with a Seed, and I make a half-dumb but half-genius play. I went for Hyper Voice because I forgot its regular attack on this field, but Deoxys still has its regular shitty defense. Therefore, it almost does half. But even when Drampa survives a shot back and went off, it didn't actually improve his Hyper Voice, so Deoxys beat him instead. Thankfully, Hail cures the space virus, but my least effective Pokemon in Glitchfield, Mawile, comes out to a horribly effective typeless Toxapex. Bad, and what's the word for this? How about bad? Then Toxapex clowns the shit out of me by protecting on its first turn, then freezing Mawile forever with Blizzard. Camerupt comes out after, and I make him try to beat this unfair opponent. He can't. Wow, this is awful. Starting with Kyurem. What the hell am I doing to beat that? Well, after saying I didn't predict I'd use her again, let's bring Rhyperior back. Using physical attacks will be favored here, and she can crush the Kyurem with Rockium Z. She took Mawile's place so that we have the types and moves we'd expect. Skip through the 100 lines of dialogue and 100 surprise bubbles to return to the battle. Every time. This time, I have Slowbro just immediately start Trick Room, for which she is not paralyzed this time, and then switch to Rhyperior. Now, Rhyperior's special defense is very bad, as she takes 2/3 on a neutral Dragon Breath. but all she had to do was drop this Continental Crush on Kyurem's head to one-shot it. Toxapex is still an issue we haven't resolved, but I put Roar back on Houndoom to at least make it put its types back on. Houndoom has to lose his Choice Scarf to a knockoff before doing so, and then see a Chansey get thrown out in front of him. Absolutely not. Houndoom leaves, and then the most idiotic thing happens. It used Blizzard and froze my now Mega Camerupt and stole his turn! That's 3 freezes! I'm half tempted to say fuck it already, but I stay in this attempt when Rhyperior comes back and her Stone Edge connects with Chansey's face and it faints. Trick Room gave up at that moment while Toxapex will slink back out here. This proved to be an exceptional time to Trick Room, as it started yet again with Baneful Bunker for nothing. Now Psychic is boosted and is something Toxapex is weak to. It survives 1 to Blizzard, but this time no freeze, and a second Psychic takes down the Urchin. Then I go and fail immensely when a Rhyperior is given a chance to kill Offense Form Deoxys, and I think that its defense is also sky high, so I went for Horn Drill. Dumbass play. Rhyperior faints. Sadly, Houndoom wasn't able to roar the typeless Deoxys too, dying to Hyper Beam. Circling the drain fast here. But now it's time for a taste of your own medicine. Drampa comes out in Blizzards, and now it freezes Deoxys and steals the turn. But of course, next turn it thawed, hit with an Ice Beam to make Drampa angry, took another Blizzard to be in range of dying to another, and Trick Room 2 stopped. Drampa dies, but the never-before-seen sequel to Trick Room 2 is released. Trick Room 3, but Deoxys recovered in the meantime. Shit, even with neutral damage, Psychic only does a third of its remaining HP. But then it went for Hyper Beam again, and failed to kill Slowbro. So now it must recharge. And with 2 more Psychics, Deoxys drops. Way too much went into it though when it didn't have to, and we're still far from finishing. Including the fact we now have to actually face the legendary we came in here for, Zygarde. I send out Vanillux, who would have an unbeatable hand against the ground dragon type. So why wouldn't it go ahead and throw away its types with another seed? Well, I'm still going to Blizzard. And then the 5th freeze and lost turn occurs in this battle. What on fucking earth is happening? Better still, it did have to Zygarde dog form anyway, so we have a good chance to beat it. Until I was reminded of Zygarde's ability, Power Construct. The presence of many come together, and here it is finally, 100% Zygarde, for the first time in this playthrough. But seeing that, I smiled. That ability just gave Zygarde back its types. Yes, it was super effective, and even with the massive increase in HP and bump in special defense, Blizzard kills the complete Zygarde. And finally comes a Gyarados. Trick Room is still on, and Vanillux has it beat. Until it Mega Evolved. Now Freeze Dry only takes half, and Gyarados answers with Fire Blast. I want you to guess, right now, what happened next. The answer is the Clutch fucking Master dodged the Fire Blast, Trick Room remained, and he won! He fucking won that! Holy shit! I could never get you to believe that fight occurred if I hadn't recorded it. I continue to be in awe of this fucking ice cream. The battle is over with the Megazord, and now it's time to catch it. Nope, Terra has other plans. Chaos Incarnate goes up and scolds the Order Pokemon into going back into its ball now. And it somehow concedes to do so. Only Terra could make something this ridiculous happen. Oh well, I guess I did own half of this Zygarde already. By the way, I never did show Shiny Zygarde when I first obtained it, and since we didn't do a catching segment, I'll show it here. So for Shiny Zygarde, instead of being green, it's yellow. Yay. All that's left to hear from Terra is to not think too hard about what happened to the Ditto she used to form complete Zygarde. Then she screams off to reconsider her role in the entire story. Maybe just do nothing? We have finally fixed it. But before we leave, there's still more to see in this final room. This center console asks if we would like to supply a Zygarde to become 100% enhanced. Already have one, thanks. But to the left and right are 2 more hallways. You have to walk down the right one first to activate a pressure plate that will open the left hallway up. Then you click on this terminal to find this. Are you fucking kidding me? Here to make me eat my words another time is one more tile puzzle. I didn't remember this in the least, and now we have to solve a picture of 100% Zygarde. But it's awfully close to being complete already. It looks like the left column just needs to be on the right side. Well, that could be crazy hard depending on how the tiles move. Oh, they move like the puzzle is a cylinder, so moving a tile off the left side makes it appear on the right, and the other tiles in that row move left. So then you just move the left side tiles left once each? Yeah, that's it. There was one thing Tara was right about. They looked like computers, but the New World, and Lynn, are definitely not smart enough for real computers. Anyway, saunter over to the end of the right hallway now to pick up DNA splicers. Now you confuse your Kyurem with Reshiram and Zekrom. Marcello can now return to work selling his lemonade in the desert. As for us, we now have the means to break through the barrier being formed by Yveltal at Rotocrene Jungle. Return to the almost colorless picnic where the Shijayas are waiting. Lumi tells us that if we have 100% Zygarde, bring it down to the Underroot to Shelly. Eve will tell us that Heather has been trying tirelessly to break through the completely guarded treetop, eating up all of their picnic food to keep her strength up. If you attempt to go into the tree and climb up to where we balanced light and dark before, you'll find that the Yveltal-driven barrier is down here as well. Do as Lumi advised and meet Shelly in the Underroot. Showing her Zygarde gets her to tell us her plan, which is simply to reenact the myth she mentioned before. She says that the fact that Z-cells appeared down here and Yveltal appeared up there is too coincidental. She believes the barriers forming around the tree are possibly another Zygarde that didn't form properly. She tells us her plan of attack. Send an attack from Zygarde through the roots of the huge tree, and we may be able to clear out all the barriers at once. Deploy your complete dragon, who unleashes a massive attack on the tree at its roots. And did the Ditto just pop out of the Zygarde? Shelly doesn't understand what we had been doing for the past 15 minutes, and it's probably better she'd never know, but she hands us the Ditto. It's ours now, and let me tell you something about that Ditto. Tara wasn't kidding that she stole it from Elias. What does that matter? Because every Pokemon an Elite Four member uses has perfect IVs. 31s across the board. On a Ditto. The ultimate breeding tool. I've learned in my research, this is your reward for getting 50 Z-cells on your own. Time well spent. I now drop off the Max Ditto and Zygarde, still 100% somehow, and return to the picnic, where Heather is now also waiting. She says she expected the person who bested her to figure out the solution before her. The entire barrier has shattered, so it's time to get up there, especially since she says she can't see Noel anywhere up there now. She asks if we want a ride up. Definitely. Now we've returned to the top of the massive tree, and there are no restrictions where we can go. There are two major directions to go in our case, south and northwest. I start by going south, and after making sure there aren't more hidden Z-cells in the branches, I come up to this nook. Then, the destruction Pokemon we had our sights on flies across the skies above us, then drops down and sits. Hey, that was just like the Tailo down in the jungle. Too bad it isn't nearly as fragile. Yveltal finally gets to have center stage, the stage being Starlight Arena. Out first from it is Cresselia, who Houndoom has a powerful Dark Pulse for. But immensely frustrating is the fact that it survived one, put up light screen, then survived another by a single pixel because it had leftovers. Come on, that's not fun. Houndoom doesn't die to its Moonblast, but still, he didn't need to lose half his HP. Now we have the ocean of HP to fight. Milotic. I decide to get Trick Room started now, which results in Toxic taking effect on Slowbro. Keeping her out there for Psychic gets blocked by Protect once, and only does a quarter next time. Slowbro dodge Hydro Pump, but that gets me thinking that I really ought to switch instead of using all this Trick Room for nothing. So just like Rhyperior, who got a way better showing today than the first time I showed her, it's time for Amoonguss to get another shot. She stands up to Hydro Pump well, then puts the Milotic to sleep right away. But before Amoonguss got to start siphoning HP from the serpent, we get something way worse. Lunala. Look how fucking often this game sticks this bastard in front of you. We break its shadow shield, but something shitty happens after we put it to sleep. It heals completely thanks to its Seed Wish. Great, Shadow Shield is back on, so I decide to clear Smog away the stage of special attack and break it again. Trick Room has left me now, so I quickly pivot to Houndoom. Perhaps entirely unnecessarily, getting max round sleep against it, I throw away Houndoom with Destiny Bond as it finally woke up to Moongeist him. Blind and operating an entire team of slow Pokemon, it's back to Slowbro. Yveltal itself appears now. Slowbro isn't Trick Rooming. She's leaving so Vanillix can obscure the sky and maybe reduce the damage of Yveltal's dark attacks enough. It was enough for Vanillix to survive, but he's too slow. It was not enough for Slowbro to survive anyway. I found that the smarter play was to let Mawile take an Oblivion Wing for less than half, then play rough to kill the Y legendary. But along with Lunala in this fight is the other box legendary it shared a generation with, Solgaleo. I thought that Drampa could go out there and do something similar to this lion like the earlier one, hitting it with Flamethrower after becoming mad. Well, Solgaleo doesn't let Drampa get mad. It used Searing Sunray Smash to devastate Drampa. Amoonguss is narrowly able to survive Zen Headbutt from Solgaleo to put it to sleep, but her moves are otherwise garbage against it. What's terrible is that Mawile's Sucker Punch, Sleep Ticking Down, is not super effective on it here. It has a fairy secondary to neutralize it. But when the stars shone through again, the dark move was boosted to then take out the lion after all. Milotic came back then, still asleep, so Mawile went for play rough. It then awakened right away and aimed Hydro Pump. Too bad it couldn't aim! Play rough kills it! How the hell are we this far? I don't know, but unfortunately, our chances to win the fight may have just been X'd out. Because the last Pokemon is Xerneas. And then, I threw it all away by switching to Amoonguss, then back to Mawile for a Regenerator. If I had left Mawile up front, I may have won this fight, because the move she took while switching in was Psyshock, which didn't kill her, and then Xerneas used it again to kill her. If that was the best move it had for her, I squandered the whole fight. I did this thinking that Amoonguss with Sludge Bomb was suited to win. Instead, I was utterly foolish to believe that Amoonguss would survive the Psyshock to Spore. What a miserable way to lose. If I had just not overthought it and tried Spore immediately, then Amoonguss would have died, and in all likelihood Mawile would tank a move and kill with Iron Head. Time to try again, and this time around, Houndoom finds way better ranges than last time, killing Cresselia without getting hurt. Milotic again, Trick Room, Toxic, switched to Amoonguss immediately, failed Protect, Spore, then Clear Smog, failing to remember that Lunala was coming. Clear Smog removes its buff immediately, then we put it to sleep. It heals off Wish, I shoot it with a Sludge Bomb, then go over to Houndoom trying to Destiny Bond it again like an idiot. Instead, it switches again, back to Milotic. I waste time with another Destiny Bond as it stays asleep, then again idiotically switched to Slowbro as it then woke up and drilled Slowbro with a Hydro Pump. Trick Room goes back up, Amoonguss comes out, then I Spore, but Milotic left before it lands, and Solgaleo goes to sleep. This fight is a switcheroo, holy. Houndoom goes out, but fails to attack before Solgaleo wakes up and anti-Trick Rooms him with Earthquake. Drampa fires a Flamethrower, but misses the kill by 10% and then doesn't even get Solgaleo to use its Z move this time, dying to a regular Sunsteel Strike. Sucker Punch down Solgaleo, Milotic back once again. This time Vanillix will battle it, but a Freeze Dry that crit only did half. Trick Room left me again, and we're somehow going to try putting it back up. But I should have tried killing Milotic, because Slowbro came in to watch it make a wish. No, all that work is going to go to waste! Trick Room 3 gets shown again, and the wish is granted. Back to full HP. Amoonguss comes back yet again to take Hydro Pump, only to watch Milotic leave for Yveltal. Can we all just sit still, please? The Destroyer goes to sleep, back to Mawile. It wakes up in time to Sucker Punch her, do little, then die to play rough. Milotic, Amoonguss, this time no Spore, just Giga Drain it. The first one crit, but the second one may not kill still. In the most ridiculous, infuriating thing you could imagine, hail stopped then. The second Giga Drain left it on 1 HP, it wished, then on my killing blow, it protected. Wish granted. Trick Room left again, and so did Milotic. Now Lunala, who's still asleep from hours ago, is back. And of course, when I go to Mawile, who just needs Lunala to stay asleep one more turn for Sucker Punch, it woke up and killed her with Moongeist Beam. Vanillix's attempt to overpower it is laughed at by Cosmic Power. Even though he taunts it, it's not like it couldn't kill Vanillix with another Moongeist plus toxic damage. Amoonguss barely lives to make it slumber again, clear Smogs away all that horrible defense it got, then seized the final straw. It woke up fast and roosted. Amoonguss and Slowbro both fall to Moongeist Beams. This is utterly maddening. All that fucking swapping around, and I could not get a grip on this fight. It just kept slipping away. We pass by the Cresselia again. Trick Room Toxic protects Switch Spore. Second Spore onto the Lunala that came in. Houndoom comes out and Dark Pulses to kill the Lunala in 2 hits, thankfully, as it slept in. Milotic coming back, I decide to stop trying to do this the slow way. It's already asleep, out comes Mawile. She plays rough with it, but it lived, only to not wake up and then die to Sucker Punch. Okay, way better. Now we fight Solgaleo. That's the Trick Room time. Oh no, Searing Sunray Smash. Holy shit! Slowbro survived on 4 HP! Trick Room is on, she passes out from poison damage, Drampa does most of the work with a flamethrower, then Mawile cleans up. Yveltal returns to Sucker Punch weakly and die to play rough. And this time, with Trick Room still going, Mawile has a lot of HP and a Xerneas to bash. Iron Head, done. God, I hated that. Playing musical chairs for 10 minutes and losing sucks. This is why I do nothing but use terrible sweeping strategies 99% of the time. At least I lose faster. After those 3 attempts that felt like 20, we begin to try catching Yveltal. Houndoom is up front, and since Yveltal just fell 15 levels, I don't know if anything Houndoom has will leave Yveltal alive. So I throw a Glitter Ball because why not? Yeah, why not? 1 cold throw, and we caught it. Nice, you're forgiven for the shitty battle. Shiny Yveltal is ghostly, looking really awesome. But now that we've defeated Yveltal, we now find that Null is not around it. Something else is going on here. Well, that something is up in the northwest. Climb up the stairs you couldn't before, then head to the right under this waterfall and find one of the very last Megastones, Deontite. But travel a couple more staircases north, past a light shard you don't need yet because Heather can fly you back down after Yveltal, and you'll find the something else that's going on. Of course, what else would you expect? Jumping down the cliffs ahead, just like that Stantler from the Jungle 2, Cool Parallels, is the counterpart to Yveltal, Xerneas. And even though it was Yveltal that was the star of this quest, it's Xerneas who will make you suffer. Why? Well, talk to the Anomaly Life Pokemon, only for Lynn to butt in. She complains that the Anomaly is filthy. She proceeds to shake out the junk in it. And out emerges Umbral Null. Null at first seems incredibly confused as Lynn gives an outpouring of snark. She then rushes everything into fighting now in order to remove the Umbral aura from Null before he starts saying edgy stuff about how he hates everyone. Instead, Null speaks and appears to be completely unaffected by the aura and says there's no need to do this. Lynn doesn't listen and forces the battle to commence. A battle that is 1/2 Anomaly Legendary and 1/2 Umbral character. And it is all horrible! 6 on 12! This one will make Yveltal look like fun. But I held out hope for one reason. This was the fight in which I brought in Amoonguss on my previous file for the first time, after losing like 30 times. We won the very first battle Amoonguss was in. Can we get that to happen again? Well, the start of this double battle is against Ribombee and Cosmoem. Yes, really. A Pokemon that knows only Cosmic Power and Teleport. Why is it a threat? Because while it uses Cosmic Power, Ribombee, who didn't die to Heat Wave from Houndoom, uses Psych Up on it. This first turn, Cosmoem hasn't gone yet, but we're on Psychic Terrain. Psych Up will grant a sharp special attack increase at the very least. But Ribombee also got the Seed-given other sharp special attack increase with it. Oh Jesus, we need to kill that fairy now. Meanwhile, the Seed Cosmoem used was to boost its special attack, but make it confused. That confusion thankfully takes its first turn. Just in time for me to fall flat on my face using Amoonguss. She went for Spore, and it failed. Ribombee has Sweet Veil, which guards against sleep. Crap, so Amoonguss can't be out here first turn. I decide to just have Houndoom kill Ribombee with Heat Wave, but a Sludge Bomb along with it fails to kill Cosmoem. But it also hurt itself again, but even that wasn't enough. Taking Ribombee's place is a Pokemon we know loves Psychic Terrain, Tapu Lele. Oh no, it's going to have Telepathy. I get Amoonguss out of here, but then Houndoom gravely hurts my chances. His Heat Wave missed Cosmoem, who was able to let Tapu Lele Psych Up on it too, giving it 4 special attack. Fuck. But then, Cosmoem hurt itself for the 3rd time in a row. I don't like that, to be honest. Because what are the chances that will happen in subsequent attempts? Heat Wave now gets the Cosmoem, but a Draining Kiss from Lele one-shots Houndoom and recovers all its lost health. Slowbro Trick Roomed, and now we have to kill a lot of Pokemon in a short time. Obviously Mawile is great against Tapu Lele, not so much against Lugia. Oh fucking hell, and Sucker Punch is disabled here thanks to the field effect. But Slowbro helps immensely, hitting Lugia with Blizzard and freezing. Another freeze! What is going on in this episode? Ironhead crashes into the Tapu and beats it, but this time the freeze doesn't stick. Lugia thaws, then ignores Seed-induced confusion for Calm Mind. Null's Ace Clefable shows up. Aw man, I need to do something about that Lugia, but that's too tempting to hit with Mawile. I have to. And Ironhead one-shots Clefable, but Psychic on Lugia does nearly nothing. It calm-minded again, and is joined by something else Mawile wants to destroy. Giratina. Playrough lands and destroys the Pokemon Null's mother sealed away, while Blizzard hurts Lugia a little more, and it throws an Ancient Power at Slowbro for less than half. Then Null sends out Sylveon. Do you have anything Mawile isn't happy to see? It dies 2 to Ironhead, but Lugia is still in green, and crits Slowbro with Ancient Power now to beat her. And got a Quint boost. Oh my god, that fucking legendary is ruining what should otherwise be a huge attempt for me. But unfortunately for me, there is one Pokemon from Null's side that Mawile isn't that happy to see. Mew. It was a no-win situation for Amoonguss. She put Lugia to sleep, but Play Rough only did half to the mythical, and it used Psychic on Amoonguss to one-shot her. Vanillix is out next to help Mawile, but after Iron Headbutting Mew out of the fight, Vanillix also did barely anything with Blizzard, and was promptly shattered by Ancient Power. Finally, with Trick Room about to fade, Mawile and Drampa, mostly Mawile, kill Lugia now with Blizzard and Stone Edge, the latter thankfully landing. And then at that moment, the best Pokemon to cover both of mine appears. Mega Blaziken. It defeats my star Mawile with a single Heat Wave, then hangs on through Hyper Voice and Hail to kill Drampa. Fuck that. This is going to be horrible, and I'm really not sure what Amoonguss did last time that so greatly swung the fight for me. She could barely do anything this attempt. Slowbro came up front this time to Trick Room since Amoonguss can't help much, but awfully, Flamethrower to focus only on Ribombee fails to kill either. Cosmoem yet again could only harm itself somehow with its no arms or legs. Psychic goes first next round to kill Ribombee, but Cosmoem finally got to act, putting up a Cosmic Power for double stages of both defenses. As such, Flamethrower now does nearly nothing. Tapu Lele is here again, but without Mawile close at hand, we aren't killing it now. I don't want to switch anything in and let it get damaged, but that was the wrong play. Our attacks do barely anything to Cosmoem, and then Tapu Lele uses Psych Up and makes all of those defense stages its own. Oh. It's over. Houndoom falls. Mawile cannot kill with Iron Head anymore. Next attempt. So Cosmoem is actually the problem. Everything on Null's side is going to borrow those stat increases to become unstoppable death machines. Now Mawile comes up front to do something about the Rabombi, while Houndoom aims Dark Pulse at the Cosmoem. This is when we discover two horrible things about this first pair of Pokemon. Cosmoem has Sturdy, letting it survive critical Dark Pulse, and Rabombi has Focus Sash. Are you fucking serious about this? I then fuck up by having Mawile hit the Cosmoem instead of Rabombi, who proceeds to kill him with Dazzling Gleam, Mawile losing half to headbutt the fairy. Then we get two things I wish Mawile could hit with Play Rough at the same time. Giratina and Spiritomb. We still don't have Trick Room, but their side did not attack me, instead doing Psych Up and Calm Mind. Giratina almost fell to Play Rough, while Spiritomb is only dug in specially. Giratina then dies to a Psychic, but Spiritomb actually out-low speeds Mawile and snarls, which does massive but not lethal damage to us. It then dies to one Play Rough, and I hope I can just dig in and win. Fuck no. Lugia and Mew. I don't want Mawile dying here. She kills everything else Null sends. She bounces for Vanillix while Slowbro breaks Multiscale on Lugia using Blizzard. It fires back with a much weaker Icy Wind, but it's enough to kill Slowbro, and Mew harms Vanillix with Psychic. Amoonguss shows up, and I hope that I can start to disrupt their side. Sadly, while Mew was put to sleep, Lugia did not die to Blizzard, and Ancient powers Vanillix down. But the worst thing I could imagine happens next, when I put Lugia to sleep and hit Mew with Play Rough. It lived it. How? Fuck! Now Hail is going to be the thing that kills my low health Mawile. Then I go and suck by attacking Lugia with both of my Pokemon because I thought it wouldn't die, and because I wanted to keep one side asleep like I explained last time. Instead, Lugia dies only, Mew woke up already, killed Amoonguss with one Psychic, and then the other two of us die to Hail. Drampa is stranded against a Sylveon and Blaziken. I guess this is hell again, no matter how much I wanted to avoid it. Houndoom is joined by Slowbro again, Dark Pulse does half and causes a flinch, while Slowbro Trick Rooms. That was a mistake. If it wasn't for Cosmoem hurting itself again, then it would have Cosmic Powered up and not died to the next Dark Pulse. Except then Rabombi with triple power kills Houndoom with Dazzling Gleam after not even losing half to Flamethrower. Vanillix bails me out considerably when he shows up in Blizzards to help kill Rabombi. Then another freeze and stolen turn happens. And Hail beats Cosmoem. Okay, cool. Here's Mew and Spiritomb. Yeah, other than taunting and doing little with Blizzard, my side did nothing and fainted. Then I'm reminded when Amoonguss and Mawile show up that only Amoonguss can put Mew to sleep before Spiritomb goes first with Psychic and kills my Fungus. Oh, wonderful. Also Play Rough missed. Yeah, fuck you too. Well, something has to change now. I'm literally flaming out in pretty much the same place every time. Vanillix can't help here being neutral, even though if I thought harder about it then, Taunt was far more powerful than I treated it. Instead, Scrappy Pangoro returns to eat up psychic attacks, though honestly there are just as many fairy moves. Now this time around, Slowbro delays Trick Room and uses Flamethrower to hurt Rabombi so that Houndoom can kill next turn. Cosmoem also hurt itself first turn again. Cosmoem dies, but Houndoom does also, and Trick Room starts now. I then get faced with Spiritomb to Mawile again, but the odd Keystone fails to act due to seed confusion, and Flamethrower and Play Rough wipe out that side. That only gets me Lugia again, next to Clefable. I don't like this. Slowbro can't do anything here, but I'm proven wrong when I leave her there to Blizzard, and this time, Lugia froze again and did not thaw. Clefable was beaten easily by Iron Head. Again, I don't know why Null doesn't send Mew sooner. Instead, Sylveon steps out here and gets headbutted back out. I switch Slowbro out now for Amoonguss in the hope that Lugia didn't defrost. It didn't, but she can't help with Tapu Lele as it dies to Iron Head too, but it can erase the special attack increase on Lugia. But now Mew shows up while Lugia was still frozen, and we put it to sleep while Stone Edge from Mawile nearly kills the unbelievably tough Lugia. We bonk the Lugia down finally, hoping that Mew stayed asleep, while I got Pangoro out here to crunch Mew. Finally, in walks the legendary at the center of the anomaly, Xerneas. What was nuts was that neither attack I sent at them killed, but Mew stayed asleep and Xerneas flinched, and then it was all rendered moot by Trick Room ending. No, I needed one more turn to break through. Fuck Psychic Terrain! Look at this! I have Sucker and Bullet Punch! Perfect checks to them! Worthless here! I anguish over what to do here, but make the best play I possibly could. Pangoro has a Moonblast target on his face the size of said moon, while Mew will hopefully attack Mawile with something not lethal. In that case, Amoonguss comes in to take the Moonblast, and I know that Mew did not attack Pangoro with Psychic. It attacked Mawile with it, and Mawile is alive to Iron Head down Xerneas. But then all hope is lost. Mega Blaziken. I did a double switch to Drampa and Pangoro, but fucking Mew decided not to fire Psychic at Amoonguss, which would fail on my Dark Bear, but Frost Breath. It hurts my side enough that when Heatwave hits Pangoro and burns him, he dies. Slowbro has to Trick Room again if I want to win, but she's hurt too much. I have to regen her. Unfortunately, all I get for switching into Amoonguss is a Focus Blast that kills Drampa, and a Psychic that targeted Slowbro and hits Amoonguss now to kill. Mawile was helpless waiting for Slowbro to Trick Room, dying to Heatwave, and Slowbro putting it up only proved I could have saved it if I hadn't switched her out earlier. Slowbro can beat Blaziken and survive another Psychic, but she can't kill Mew even with boosted Psychic when it had 25% left. Also, there's a second Cosmoem for some reason. Oh, again I guess. Now I put Darkinium Z on Pangoro, so we absolutely kill Mew next time. But then I discovered that everything sucks. Houndoom has to make Cosmoem flinch, or it has to lose its turn to Confusion. If neither happen and it Cosmic Powers, then it lives the second Dark Pulse and Houndoom dies after to Ribombee. We Trick Room now, letting us still kill Ribombee and Cosmoem, weakened by Flamethrower and Dark Pulse. Here's that trap again with Lugia, but I don't fall for it this time. Slowbro leaves now for Amoonguss, Tapu Lele is bashed, and Lugia calm-minded. There's Mew again, we Spore it, Stone Edge Lugia who still had Multiscale, and watch it Calm Mind again. I have to get over to Pangoro now and hope Stone Edge kills, because Mew is the last thing that destroys me on the right side. Stone Edge did not kill, and it also didn't hurt itself, hurting us with Icy Wind. But both Mawile and Pangoro survived to Iron Head and Black Hole Eclipse, which swallows Mew whole. But the worst thing I could see is next, when both Xerneas and Sylveon showed up. I needed only one of you! I knew though that last time, Mawile wasn't strong enough to kill Xerneas. So Pangoro's last act is to crunch it for a slight bit more damage, and Ironhead does the rest. Pangoro falls to Swift, and while Mawile handles Sylveon, Amoonguss will put Blaziken to sleep. It's awful though that Trick Room gave out there, especially while Giratina showed up. I didn't think I would get to attack, nor that it would survive Play Rough, but it only psyched up while both opponents are now asleep. Now though, I look at the issue with Blaziken. Mawile isn't going to be able to kill that chicken easily, but luck finally shined on me. Blaziken stayed asleep for the max amount of time, and Stone Edge plus Sludge Bomb killed. This leaves the left side with only Spiritomb, which I don't like, but at least Mawile can hit it with Play Rough. Then I screw up and kill Giratina instead after it immediately woke up and killed Amoonguss with Hex. Mawile almost died to Psychic from Spiritomb then, taking out the dragon. This left Null with only his Ace Clefable, but I have no Trick Room and Slowbro is at half HP. I bring Drampa first, which was a mistake as I look at it, but I'm given one last piece of luck. Clefable psyched up, but Spiritomb hurt itself in confusion. That let Mawile kill Clefable with Iron Head, and now the only fucking Pokemon left is Spiritomb. But then it lived a Dragon Pulse, and then ignored its confusion this time to unleash a Snarl first with double special attack. Snarl missed both of us! What? What? That's 1 in 400! Luck won that fight. Not me. Luck. Oh right, there's a Cosmoem still. Oh shit, it has a Z move. It used Z Splash. It raised its attack drastically. Okay, it's dead now. Anyway, again, one Confusion self-hit, max round sleep on Blaziken, and a ridiculous and unnecessary double Snarl miss. It only needed to miss one of us. But finally, dear God, finally, this one is over. As I said before, Amoonguss, who by the way was Master Ball Shiny Amoonguss Sick Design, utterly decimated this fight after I lost so many times. I'm so glad I have this screenshot, because this proves it. Look at these HP values. No one except that very Pokemon I added fainted in this fight. I have no idea how it worked, but it worked great. Definitely better than it did today. We finally won the XY Legendary Quest, and Noel is released from the Umbral Aura. He speaks now how he knew what the Aura did to others, but that's not what he experienced. He had full control. Okay, so why did you battle me? He takes a stand now that he's tired of others assuming they know better what he needs than he knows. He then tells us about Xerneas, and how they met after we left. They understand each other, as the Legendary turns to him in agreement. He understands that I'm capturing Legendaries, so he has Xerneas go with us. Without conflict. And thus you discover the most difficult shiny to obtain in the game. Bar none. You don't get a chance to catch it with Glitter Balls. It comes to your party immediately, and if it wasn't shiny, your only choice is to win the fight again. That or cheat with the quick save button, which in this case, I would fully condone. It's too bad, because shiny Xerneas gets an autumnal fur color that's really nice. After this, Noel will go by the pond and wait for us to be finished, thinking we haven't already dispatched the Yveltal. Now pick up that light shard. Why would you need to, though? Trust me, you need to. Talk to Noel again, who learns we beat Yveltal, yet the color of the tree is still missing. He finds it disappointing, but reasons that the color didn't have to come back after Yveltal ate it. He seems to have nothing else to say, and Heather has left. So we'll have to climb down the tree on our own. But just as we try to, who should climb up first but Radamus? He heard that Noel had been trapped up here and tried to make his way up to him as soon as he heard. However, he was blocked by the barriers just the same, but has finally arrived. He's frustrated by how every time he wants to help, something traps him and makes him unable to. But now, he joins Noel at the pond, trying to start conversation, which Noel tells him to skip. Radamus says that if his attempts are half-hearted, it's because that half went away long ago, but the rest is here for Noel. However, his son thinks that Radamus truly only cares for that half long gone. Radamus tries to tell Noel, as difficult as it is, that he wishes he could do something to close this distance between them, calling it a great tragedy. But Noel still remains skeptical, saying how Anna always seemed like his important one, to which Radamus cannot deny he was worried for her. He says she almost disappeared like Xena, and yet, for as much as he worried for her, he couldn't prevent it from almost happening again. Noel says it goes further than that though, before Xena was lost. Their names show it. Anna's true name is Fantasia, while his, Painter. He thinks it's like he's only good for labor, but while Radamus sees his point, he disagrees entirely. The reasons for those names were that Anna, or Fantasia, would dream, and Noel, or Painter, would paint those dreams into reality. Radamus understands that still belittled Noel into the idea he didn't have his own dreams. He says that dreams are in high supply, but making them come true is the real power. He says even a black and white world like this can be a canvas for something to make into a dream. And then, that's when Noel appears to come to an epiphany. Noel says something took the color away, and all that's needed is to put the color back. Radamus doesn't understand the method for doing so, but Noel tells him he met Xerneas, and that he understood it. At that moment, Noel steps past Radamus and explains how he understood the way it shapes life and land. It's the same as art, and decides that, Instead of trees being green and sky being blue, let's try something completely different. And all of a sudden, the entire world is awash with brand new vibrant color, painted over in an instant by a power that seemed to come from Noel. It's an unbelievable feat. Noel has obtained some kind of power while he had been within the anomaly. But that's when he mentions that when he was in there, he saw something else. How Lynn reaches the new world. That's when he tells me to get ready. Because he's about to help us tie a loose end you never even fathomed you would. And then he activates his brand new painting power again, and he brings back into existence Eclipse. Yet again, someone lost in the conflict with Meteor has been found. But like so many others, the agent of Meteor who tried to escape and was thought to be killed by Sirius is here, encased in the Umbra Aura again. This time, unlike Noel, she is completely affected by it, and begins to speak like the others in a distorted voice. She wonders how long it's been, and how her own time was at an end. She believes that his must be too. She delves deep into her guilt now for leaving her father to find a cure for him. She was only running from it, instead of staying with him to the very end. She has nothing to be here for anymore. Just send her back. Your jaw, like mine, will hit the floor as you begin battle against Umbral Eclipse. This one came out of fucking nowhere for me. How is it possible that this is happening now? One more time, you can right a wrong from long ago. But Eclipse will not make it easy, as she begins with that same ocean of HP from Yveltal's fight. Milotic. It's Destiny Bond time, Houndoom, please. Oh, come on, why did Hydro Pump have to miss? It didn't miss the second turn, and Houndoom dies for nothing. This Milotic is even harder to kill than the last one, as Vanillix nearly dies to one Hydro Pump and only does a third with Freeze Dry. His Hail removes the initial rainbow field of this fight and changes it to Starlight Arena. Then came a ridiculous number of turns where Milotic shot Slowbro, then Amoonguss with Hydro Pump, while I set up Trick Room and switched to the Mushroom to Giga Drain the rest of its HP after Hail beat on it a while. Yet again, Lunala. Slowbro does a Regenerator sack at the expense of Vanillix, not to come back, but to let Hail chip Lunala so that Mawile's Sucker Punch would kill. But it didn't kill, and she has to lose a ton of HP to Moongeist Beam before doing it again. But Entei is coming next to melt her down. I thought Stone Edge could meet it, but it left it with a drop of health, so Sacred Fire took her. I know that Trick Room is close to ending, so I make the play to put Entei to sleep with the last turn of it, though it got to slap her with extreme speed before snoozing. We get over to Slowbro for another round of Trick Room, thankfully Entei staying asleep, then Psychic beats it. Out next though is a Pokemon we saw a lot of today, Necrozma. It made a wish right before Amoonguss slept it too, so any damage she does this turn will be undone. I get rid of its special attack stage anyway with Clear Smog, then move to Drampa. But it took too long to do this, as the Prism Pokemon woke up and destroyed my dragon with Photon Geyser. Sadly, as hard as I fought after that, Necrozma was too tough to kill with my unsuitable moves, and we lose. After sitting through another long batch of dialogue and animations, we try again with Slowbro leading the pack. Milotic, like earlier, just Toxic Slowbro while she Trick Roomed, as I then move to Amoonguss. Failed Protect turn, then Spore. Begin Giga Draining, but there's a problem on Rainbow Field. Sleeping Pokemon regain health as they sleep. Because of it and a quick wake up, Milotic wasn't close to dying, then awakened and used Recover. Oh please. Back to sleep and Giga Drain again for not enough, then back to Slowbro to trigger Trick Room again as it recovered again. I went to Vanillix now to get rid of that Rainbow again and do one Freeze Dry to it for almost half, but he's down again. This time though, Amoonguss can Spore and Giga Drain to beat the Milotic. Lunala again, Immediate Spore, Broken Shadow Shield with Hail over to Mawile, but again Sucker Punch isn't enough once, and it woke to blast her down to low HP. No more Trick Room, back to Slowbro to take Entei's Stone Edge and do it again. She doesn't have Surf right now so annoyingly, but dodges one Stone Edge to use Psychic twice and almost kill. But it was dumb to use Sucker Punch against it, because its extreme speed bests my tired Mawile. It hurts Drampa too, but his Hyper Voice wins. But yet again, we have to beat Necrozma somehow. Amoonguss can put it to sleep and reduce its special attack again. I should have gone right to Houndoom even with Trick Room up, but it ran out now, and Houndoom can go first with Dark Pulse. Not enough. But neither was its Dragon Pulse. The Clear Smog may have saved him. Another Dark Pulse, Necrozma down. But I'm in a bad position with no more Trick Room, and there's a Mega Audino coming. I realized it soon enough this time, and went to Amoonguss right away. But it got to Calm Mind before I spored, meaning I have to Clear Smog for less damage first. Except, it was a pure necessity. It knows Sleep Talk, and Calm Mind it again. Clear Smog deletes those stat stages. We Sludge Bomb only after it tried to Sleep Talk Rest. Good, wasted turn, and Sludge Bomb did quite a good hit, but then it woke up and went right back to sleep with Rest. Fine, Sludge Bomb hit hard again, and twice in a row, it Slept Talk out Rest and did nothing. 2 more Sludge Bombs beats it. Can we actually win this? Maybe, but the last Pokemon you have to beat is utterly cruel to be in Eclipse's possession right now, for it is the very Pokemon that took her away from this world in the first place. Chandelure. It gains 1 special attack with a Seed, and a Wish is flying towards it. Houndoom has less than half HP, and if I can't beat this thing in 1 Dark Pulse, it's probably over. It didn't die. And then Energy Ball from Chandelure wasn't enough! Houndoom alive with 28 HP! Second Dark Pulse! We win! You've got to be kidding me! That's how I won? Beating down an Audino with special attack Amoonguss off pure luck and living an attack from Chandelure? Just incredible! And boy, I had a lot of nervousness about this fight. Because here's the thing. After winning the previous fight last time with Amoonguss on the first try I brought her, this fight then gutted me. Eclipse was really difficult against the same team, and I sat here suffering for a long time. Apparently I was really averse to using the remote PC back then. Once more, an Umbral Aura dissolves, and the person underneath comes too. Eclipse shows that for all of her defeatism she just spoke, she still has just as much sass. She wonders what the hell was in her drink, as Radimus then steps forward to explain and offer assistance. The first things she asks are how long she's been gone, and where is Sirius. Sirius? Well, he won't be showing up in one of those auras, I can tell you that. When Radimus tells her that Meteor is no more, she says she must go to her father. She then bears her remorse for leaving him all this time, but Radimus says she mustn't be hard on herself. That's when Noel adds, her father must appreciate how hard she's been trying in her own way. Radimus agrees warmly to this, then offers to help Eclipse down the tree, but meanwhile, Noel says he wishes to stay here. Well, I guess there's no literal life and death here now. Noel explains that he may be able to find more than just Eclipse. He may be able to find Lynn herself. At this point, the Psychic Gym Leader asks if we'd like to join them in the Traveling Fast. Indeed. You can go back to the nightclub for some last words from all the people that were at the picnic. Strangely, Noel is back at the nightclub anyway, who says that he's glad he went to the picnic after all, which gave him the chance to meet Xerneas. There's one more bit of closure you want to see though. Back in Calcinon City. Return to the house in the northwest of the city to find Eclipse has returned. Her father invites us in happily, having learned from Eclipse/Caitlin that we pulled her back into this world, and apologizes further about the way he acted towards me. Come on, man, that was 18 episodes ago. It's ancient history. But then a few sentences later, someone else drops in, just in time to give you a dose of feel-good closure. Aster. He came by to help out Mr. Fisher, only to trail off in disbelief at who is here. The former meteor duo meet once again, but Aster believes he's having another of those dreams. Of course, Eclipse can't help herself but to jab him like always, as Aster slowly begins to realize it's true. He questions how it's possible, after what happened with the Chandelure. Eclipse doesn't care to ask questions. She wants to make the most of this second lease on life, and thinks Aster should do the same. Aster then can't help but turn on the waterworks, as Eclipse comes forward and assures him she isn't leaving again. She then offers he join them for dinner, as well as me, saying she owes us around 50 dinners for what we've done. After the delicious meal, Eclipse says bye to Aster, telling him to come by again. As for us, she thanks us for showing up at the perfect time, and is glad not to have to be obtuse about it in front of her fellow operatives. She then gives us Mewtwo Night X and Y! Holy shit! Eclipse thanks us once more, for everything, and returns to spend time no one believed she would have. Wow, both of the Mewtwo Megastones! But when will we get to use them? Well, I suppose it's time to make our way to Tanzan Mountain and the final official quest. Head back to Tanzan Cove and go into the mountain from the entrance on the other side of the lake. Don't go into the secret cave in the middle of the lake. You need to go where the destroyed meteor base and the Steelix tunnels are. Go through the tunnels near where this pipe across the chasm is to enter this cave. Inside, you'll find the last portal that Lynn wants you to go through. On the other side is Neoteric Isle. That's like a fancy way to say New Island, huh? Walk up the docks to the mountain climb ahead, but put on your magnetic lure and prepare to leave very quickly, because in this grass around here, you will find the final Ultra Beast, Xurkitree. Caught shiny, it gets blue hair and highlights. You can't help but wonder now what the reward will be for obtaining all the Ultra Beasts, and your curiosity will send you directly out of the New World and to Agate City. But don't forget to catch the shiny Alolan Geodude on the way out. Arrive in Agate City and go to Bee's house to deliver the awesome news. She's so happy to hear this, planning on becoming the forefront authority on Ultra Beasts. She says that for us, she found something while searching around one of the pockets of the New World and wants us to have it. Ultra Necroznium Z! The ultimate form of Necrozma is now yours to wield. Speaking of ultimate, with the appearance of the New World and all of the legendaries that came with them, there can only be one conclusion to Bee's requests: 100% Pokedex completion. And at this moment, there are only 3 Pokemon left. As you can imagine, that number is going to fall even further by the end of this episode. Once you've traveled the 200 miles back to Neoteric Isle, come down to this choppy water and start swimming, and you'll find 2 things: a Z-Cell, and right after we obtained Ultra Necroznium Z, the N Lunarizer. Dawn Wings is ours. 1 more form to go. You'll now start making your way up the cliffs and see a huge structure built into it. To the right of a huge tower and door, you'll discover a second Z-Cell, which is left of another tower. Skip the first tower's entrance, make your way over to the second one, and you'll find yet another Z-Cell. But when you try to enter this further tower, it is locked. Head back to the first one you passed and enter, but be immensely warned. You are about to come up against an opponent that will test you in a way you've never been tested. When you try to go through that door in the north of this cluttered room, that opponent will appear and challenge you. I've faced everything in this region: gym leaders, Elite Four, champions, legendaries, and gods. But now, I must fight me. A monochrome Alter Oildrum stands before me, and it's time for one of the most clever and infuriating matches in the game, because the team that you have to beat is the same as your team. Except every member of your doppelganger's team will have a Pulse 2. They're you, but better. This presents a huge problem if you try to go in guns blazing with your standard team, because that means they are just doing what you do, but they'll survive hits you won't. They'll be faster at all times, and no matter what tricks you employ, they're doing it too. Moves, held items, they're all the same. Just take my usual team I have, and consider something. His Houndoom is going to outspeed my Slowbro and kill her before I can even try to do Trick Room. If I start with Slowbro, his Slowbro can turn off my Trick Room before I can switch to something that can kill it. You'll be playing so much chess, trying to plan what Pokemon beats what Pokemon, which mirror matches you can take, and how to overcome the fact that you just won't kill or outspeed when you think you should. Or, you could find the boundaries of this challenge and get creative. What did I do on my first attempt? I tested if I could simply win with only Drampa, because that forces my opponent to have only the same single Pokemon and no others. My thought? His Drampa is going to go first and attack with Dragon Pulse. If my Drampa lives, he'll be so mad about this imposter and go berserk, firing back a stronger Dragon Pulse that will surely kill it. Sadly, that plan fails on the survive a Dragon Pulse part. If I had a Habon Berry to reduce the damage from Dragon-type super effective moves, then I could potentially make this work, but I don't want to leave for that. I tried it a second way, with Drampa and Mawile. If I start with Drampa, then switch to Mawile on the expected Dragon Pulse, then she'll outspeed as Mega Mawile and kill with Play Rough. Guess what? Pulse 2 Drampa is faster than her, and kills her with Flamethrower. To be honest, I'm not sure what I was really going to do against the opposing Mega Mawile. She would probably kill mine and Drampa would stand no chance unless it missed Play Rough. But there's another boundary you need to know about, which greatly opens up your options. I wanted to know, does this doppelganger copy everything, including levels? Yes, my level 143 Shedinja is met by a Shedinja of the same level, not maxed out to 145. Yes, my Shedinja will die to that one because of Shadow Sneak, but you know what I put in Shedinja's hands? Nothing. No safety goggles, because that Shedinja isn't going to kill mine. It's going to kill the level 25 Snover that was in the Zarina fight in episode 2. You never thought you'd see them again, did you? That Snover starts Hail with Snow Warning no matter what the Mimic does, and when Snover heroically dies to Shadow Sneak, the enemy Shedinja goes down with it. That leaves me to use my Shedinja to win in one more turn against an opposing level 25 Snover. No matter how much more powerful it got with Pulse 2, a level 25 cannot overcome a nearly 120 level deficit, and it dies to 1 leech life before Hail can knock out my Shedinja. Sometimes, you just need a little ingenuity. Of course, if the game did something like max out the levels of the Pokemon it was using, or maybe even duplicated the members of your team in order to get a team of 6 anyway, then you'd have to spend a lot more time figuring out how to get past it. Last time though, I did not come up with a slick, probably cheesy way to win. I suffered a ton against this mirror match madness. So why was this team all standing at the end? Because I reset 1,000 times until I got a Quick Claw to go off on Camerupt in order to kill the other opening Camerupt. After that point, Shift Mode made it fall into place where each enemy that came out, I had an answer that would kill them. Like Heracross being Chow for Talonflame, their Talonflame being unsuitable to fight Blastoise, and so on. It's good that I won after waiting for RNG to allow this, because it took so fucking long. With the silent antagonist defeated, I reassemble my team and prepare. Yeah, did you have a horrible time with that? Because that was just the appetizer. The real fight is beyond. And trust me, there's absolutely no fucking cheesing what's about to happen. But before you endure that suffering, walk through the door here and figure out that there's a hidden wall right there to find a Z-cell. Come on, 2 invisible room Z-cells? Have a light shard as you walk through this hallway filled with machinery until you bump into Fern. Mr. Swag, though, jumps at our approach, then saying without prompting that he's sorry about what happened last time. He feels embarrassed about how he acted, and asks now if we also had to fight a clone. If there's one person he has the hardest time smiling at, it's himself in a mirror. Then that happened, and he wants to ask me, is he always that bad? He already knows the answer. He heard it from his own mouth standing in front of him. And then we have a visitor. Just as Fern says he owes me for putting up with him, he spots Mew. The mythical that messed with him before has appeared in this place, and Fern quickly bolts after it down the hallway to the north. Before we follow him, go to where he battled his shadow. In this cluttered room, a clone in its own right of the other side, we'll find 2 important things. The N Solarizer. Just like that, in just a few minutes, we have access to all forms of necrozma. And on the other side is a Z-cell. And this one is special because it marks the last one I should have gotten. Yeah, a couple things. First, surprise, there aren't actually 100 standing Z-cells in the game. There are only 71. And this one marks number 68 for me. Yeah, I missed 3 Z-cells throughout post-game. And to be honest, the 2 that we got in this episode that were in hidden walls in this place and the Cite Prisma, I didn't find those the first times through. Where are the last 3? One is in the Mirage Tower basement dual world section. You have to go to the Dark World and go back through one of the New World portals, and you find it right here. The second is bullshit. You go back to Agate City to where you'd start the Celebi quest. The very start. You literally go through the portal, then swim around to the back of the portal and pick up the unseen Z-cell. Rude. And finally, the last Z-cell I have lost permanently. It seems that, as a completionist, it is only fitting that my nightmare of missing something came true when I failed to find it in Endgame, the Nightmare Forest where we battled the Pulse rematches. So, the Z-Cell side quest has reached its conclusion here, with my acquisition of only 70 Z-Cells. I apologize if my series led you to not obtaining the Z-Cell in the Darkrai quest as well. But now, I can't put it off any longer. Return to the hallway joining mine and Fern's sides, and proceed forward. Pass under many arches toward a cosmic arena floor. Save your game, and get used to that save. Because I am about to say something contestable again. You are about to enter what I think is the hardest, singular fight in the game. Not the hardest sequence, and not in the top 5 hardest sequences I mentioned last time. But if you can overcome the one battle you have to do a few steps in front of you, you'll have done what I feel is the hardest battle out of any gauntlet or standalone fight in the game, and it will bring together all that remains unfinished in our quests, because you'll step forward and find Fern confronting the Mew. But just as he steps towards the mythical, he is suddenly shoved into the wall by a psychic force, floating into the arena to join Mew. As if the movie tie-in wasn't obvious enough, is the loose end from the nightclub at the beginning of the episode and Mew's own clone, Mewtwo. And completely unlike the first Pokemon movie, the 2 psychic legends are going to band together and wreck your shit with this 6-on-12! I am horribly worried about this one. It's going to take the difficulty of Reborn up yet one more impossible step, and you're going to have to squeeze out every drop of your understanding of the game to overcome it. One huge reason for the difficulty of this fight is Holyfield. That means Special Dark and all ghost moves have half power. Great! Half the things Psychic is weak to, taken away. The starting line of this arduous task is Tyranitar and Terrakion. Starting Destiny Bond Trick Room like I usually do when a fight starts me backed into a corner, I then find out this is going to suck even more than I thought. They both open with Rock Slide. That kills Houndoom to take down Terrakion, which is nice, but Slowbro got hit by both slides and lived, and now has to avoid a flinch. She does. Okay, we're behind already, but Pangoro can come in to hammer the Tyranitar, being immune to Psychic. But speaking of Psychic, there's the first of the two leaders already. Mew, the playful mythical, will now fight, and I hate this. Pangoro is my only option to kill both sides with certainty, as he has the Darkinium Z still. That has to go towards Mew, but Slowbro has nothing for Tyranitar. I have to go with Blizzard, which only hits Mew annoyingly, as Black Hole Eclipse probably didn't need help. Slowbro is then slammed and knocked out by Brutal Swing, Pangoro taking very little. I have to bash Tyranitar this time, so I bring in Mawile so we have something to do it with. Good thing, because in Mew's place is now Keldeo. That means Mawile will play rough with that, and Hammer Arm is for Tyranitar. They both hit and both defeat them. That evens the score now, but it's about to go all wrong. Primal Groudon. If that wasn't enough, from Mew's side is Mewtwo. In case that's not clear, this means there are two Mewtwo's in this fight. Or, it may be more apt to say, both Mewtwo's. Mew's version of Mewtwo, Mega X evolves. Something that completely ruins my chances for Pangoro to help. In this first attempt, I completely mess up, as I had hoped Mewtwo would Mega Evolve into Y, so Sucker Punch and Crunch would destroy it. Instead, it takes neutral from both attacks, lives well, then Groudon destroys us by itself with Precipice Blades, leaving Frieza's Drain Punch unused. Side note, you may see the point that this Mew is using a Mewtwo X, and realize, it wasn't Mewtwo in the nightclub today. It was Mew, disguised as a Mewtwo, disguised as a not Mewtwo. Mind blown. Oh, by the way, it's over. Vanillix and Drampa have no hope of beating both of these two. Until Drampa's Hyper Voice kills Frieza and brings Groudon to red. That means Vanillix's Blizzard will... Oh, come on. I got anti-clutch mastered with that Blizzard miss. Thanks a fucking lot, Desolate Land. Precipice Blades destroy Vanillix, but miss Drampa, whose reward is to witness Arya Meloetta arrive. Wow, I just realized writing this that so far, how many Pokemon are in this fight that were in another horrible 6-on-12? Terrakion, Keldeo, Meloetta, Groudon. The all-star team of death. Anyway, Drampa knocks out Groudon and dies to Meloetta. So on first inspection, I don't think Vanillix helps out much here. There's a lot of rock and fighting, and nothing that weak to ice. So he lets Talonflame tag in. That's mostly to have something to hit Frieza with. But we are really asking for it in that first turn again. That is, until Slowbro dodges both Rock Slides to Trick Room. Terrakion is gone like before again, but the luck can't always be good. For this time, I put Pangoro out there again, but we have a problem this time around. It's Keldeo that showed up, not Mew. Even with a good approach, using Psychic on Keldeo and Hammer Arm on Tyranitar, I couldn't have gotten a worse outcome. Psychic, even boosted, failed to kill Keldeo, and Hammer Arm missed. Fucking ridiculous. Pangoro dies to Superpower and Keldeo's Secret Sword harms Slowbro, though it knocked itself out with Life Orb. Oh look, it's Dawnwing's Necrozma again! Haven't seen that 20 times today. I have now taught Focus Blast to Slowbro in the hope of splintering Tyranitar, but just as she's firing that, it's moved out of the way, and now it's Groudon who will take the hit. What's important is that Dawnwings is actually that, not Ultra Bursting today, and it dies to Sucker Punch. Focus Blast then did over half to the Primal, as Frieza emerges again. We have an excellent turn this time, though, as Slowbro's reliable Psychic takes out Groudon, and Play Rough can actually one-shot Mewtwo X. That's big, but now we have to deal with Mewtwo's originator on the left, and the Tyranitar on the right. Then we have a bad turn. Sucker Punch almost kills Mew, but Focus Blast does what it does best, missing. Then after Slowbro almost dies to Brutal Swing, we get a transformation from Mew as well. A transformation of the field by its Z move, Genesis Supernova. It actually hit Mawile and didn't kill her somehow, but what has been left for us is Psychic Terrain. Fuck. Now Sucker Punch is revoked. Here's what's way worse. I had Trick Room left to finish off Mew with Iron Head, but I should have attacked Tyranitar with that, because I forgot. Sandstorm currently happening means Tyranitar has boosted special defense, which lets it survive the Focus Blast that hit this time. No way. I'm given a reprieve by having Mawile dodge Rock Slide, but Slowbro is gone, and we have to deal with that singer from the circus again. And we could not at all. Mawile's Iron Head went to Tyranitar to beat it, but Hyper Voice did nowhere near enough damage, and its Dazzling Gleam finally tired out Mawile, and Drampa was defeated thanks to Sandstorm. All I have left for half of the remaining enemies is Talonflame, and guess who's also here? Lunala. Oh, fuck this. Trying again with nothing different, I somehow get lucky again dodging 2 flinch chances so Slowbro can Trick Room. But Mew appearing means Pangoro must focus that so we never see Psychic Terrain again. But Focus Blast, like we learned, isn't good enough. Slowbro feints to Brutal Swing, then Hammer Arm and Play Rough beat Tyranitar and Keldeo. But we've seen this before. Groudon and Mewtwo now. This time, we know that Play Rough was enough to kill X, but I know Pangoro has so little to do here. I ended up going for Endeavor, but it turns out Pangoro and Groudon have almost the same HP, so it does way less than a regular attack would have done. All it gets me is a double knockout from Precipice Blades. Holy shit. Talonflame and Drampa hit the field. Gale Wings is broken right away with Brave Bird to hit Meloetta, then Drampa can take both the Primal and Singer down with Hyper Voice, only to then face another cloning situation. Lunala and Necrozma looking like Lunala. If only Talonflame could do something there. Hyper Voice on Holy Field is super effective on ghost types. It almost killed Necrozma but not quite, and Lunala was even farther away. In the end, my side crumples again. Okay, Talonflame isn't necessary, as Mawile can beat Mewtwo X, so let's put Aegislash in. This was what I thought would be good, until I remembered that Ghost isn't like Dark on Holy Field, where only special attacks are nerfed. All Ghost attacks are. So Aegislash is only good for Iron Head and not much else. And we finally got screwed over. Slowbro flinched to Rock Slide. Slowbro never Trick Rooms as she's beaten by Keldeo and Tyranitar, while Aegislash came 1 point of HP away from killing Tyranitar. There's literally no reason to show any more of that. It collapses twice as fast as the other attempts. With that flinch, I know better than to roll the dice of RNG twice as often on a fight I don't even have a plan for yet. I need to make sure that stops being an issue. How can you stop Rock Slide from causing flinches? By making it not hit you. Because there's been a move I wanted to use for a long time, but nothing has pushed me hard enough to invest in a new Pokemon for it. This has pushed me hard enough. That move is Wide Guard. Some of you probably just laughed that I'm only now using this. I know how good it could have been in the past, but I didn't want to introduce more new Pokemon just for this move. I wish I had had the foresight to have bred the move onto Pokemon I'm already using who can only learn it through breeding, like Hariyama, Bastiodon, and especially Aegislash. But at this point, I don't mind bringing a Pokemon that can learn it by level up, who can stand up front with Slowbro to make it more likely that Trick Room starts. At the same time, it'll need to be a slow fighting type to be able to crush Tyranitar once the Trick Room is there. Put all those requirements together, and what Pokemon do you get? Throw. What's very interesting is that I can say for certain, Throw was a Pokemon I used in Reborn before, and I believe it was in my very first playthrough. But since then, I haven't thought to use him again, and there's a kind of good reason for that. Throw's Learn set isn't amazing. Superpower is a good move, but Close Combat would be better in my opinion. Endure Reversal is funny, but basically a meme. He has all of his throw moves available, for effects like always critting, never missing, and ejecting the Pokemon he hits, but 2 of those moves are lower priority, and I'd have to leave to get Storm Throw on this throw. So for now, all Throw really needs to do is wide guard through the first turn, kill Tyranitar with a superpower, then hopefully still be around to wide guard against Precipice Blades or other mammoth attacks. I tell you what though, one thing that this throw I just pulled out of the PC did have was Mondo stats. Damn near perfect in everything. My newest combatant enters this awful fray with Slowbro and does the wide guard, only for this change in frontline composition to force a change from their side. Terrakion doesn't even bother to attack us now. It uses Stealth Rock instead. Shitty. As for Tyranitar, it didn't go for Rock Slide but Brutal Swing, so wide guard came in handy. Trick Room starts, but remember the issue with Tyranitar being able to tank Focus Blast? That issue is also present on Terrakion, who can survive Psychic thanks to Sandstorm. Superpower does crush Tyranitar easily, then Throw lives a Sacred Sword, but we now get Lunala. This is another point about Throw that sucks. His possible dark moves are all crap. The best he could get is Payback, and I can't let him go second right now. I decided to go for the Endure Reversal with Throw, while Slowbro knocked out Terrakion, but Moongeist Beam, even halved in power, kills Slowbro, making the Endure useless. Then when I bring in Mawile to Sucker Punch the chipped Lunala, its fake version appears next to it again. Throw goes weakly for Wide Guard while Mawile can kill Lunala, but his guard is ignored by Photon Geyser to kill him. Then I make another mistake, putting Pangoro out with Mawile, making my 2 physical attacks completely unable to check Groudon. I don't want Mawile to die here, but switching her for the better defense Aegislash while Pangoro killed Necrozma only had both of my Pokemon die to Precipice Blades anyway! We now only have Drampa and Mawile left, and we already know Hyper Voice doesn't kill Groudon in 1 hit. That is, unless it crits! It, along with Frieza, were beaten in that turn, leaving my last 2 unscathed, except by Weather and Stealth Rocks. Then came another horrible mythical to join Mew, Magearna. Can you not? Like really, can you please not be here? I should have used Flamethrower on it, but I knew that Mew wouldn't die to Sucker Punch. Yet again I'm proven wrong because I got another crit! But Hyper Voice of course doesn't kill Magearna, whose Fluor Cannon decimates Mawile. Hyper Voice cries out of Drampa's throat once more, but neither Meloetta nor Magearna fall to it. Well, I do now put Payback on Throw, just so he has something for Lunala. We get right to it and use it, but it barely does a quarter thanks to Shadow Shield, Slowbro falling the same way. Then in the next turn, Payback on Lunala is still not strong enough, and Mawile missed Play Rough on Keldeo. Throw is gone, then Drampa and Mawile beat the Bat and Unicorn. Groudon and Meloetta, I'm in that position again where Hyper Voice won't kill Groudon. Sucker Punch does actually kill Arya, but Groudon... What? It was enough with no crit? Okay. Then we have a better outlook against the Primal than I thought. But Magearna and X are in at once. I can use Play Rough to beat Mewtwo, but as I feared, Flamethrower can't melt Magearna entirely. I have still 2 others left, but I should have brought Pangoro for his Z move. Mew is here. I headbutt Magearna down with Aegislash and Sucker Punch Mew, but it hung on to then Supernova the last of Mawile's HP and make it impossible to Shadow Sneak down Mew now. We needed that priority, because Trick Room is dead. And then finally, Mew is joined by its counterpart. The real Mewtwo is ready to fight, and as I alluded much earlier, it's Mega Y Mewtwo. Jeeg has no problem using Psystrike to destroy Attack Stance Aegislash, and Mew is perfectly ready to wipe out Pangoro with Dazzling Gleam, quadding him down and ending this attempt. This is just insanity. I feel like I'm still so far away, and this fight is even harder than the Groudon Titania half of the Primal Gauntlet last time. We get back to the turn with Throw about to pay back a full HP Lunala, and then I discover I didn't save teaching him Payback. Cool. So instead I use another superpower with even less attack on Terrakion, and that manages to kill it. But at the same time, I understood that I had a good switch here. Slowbro was getting obliterated by Moongeist, but that means Drampa can take her place, and it does nothing. Now Throw is at very low HP, and Keldeo is on the left. A reversal even with half attack power would be nice. until Keldeo Aqua Jets him down. Fuck off. Drampa then decided to avenge him by hyper-voicing Lunala straight to the ground, and Keldeo only held on with enough HP to die to Sandstorm. Okay, we've taken out quite a few with only one knockout, so I bring in Pangoro thinking Mew is bound to show up. It does, but so does Magearna, and I'm realizing I have a situation on my hands just like the Dahlin fight with Celesteela. It would be really nice if Drampa could kill Magearna with one attack, so I should have put Fire Blast on him. The flamethrower Magearna takes that leaves her on low red proves Fire Blast will do it for the cost of an RNG check, while Mew dies to Black Hole Eclipse. Magearna avenges her fellow Mythical with Aura Sphere to kill Drampa. But now, when I put Aegislash out there, I found out that was the wrong play. Frieza showed up now, and I have nothing to kill it. Magearna can die to Crunch, but Shadow Claw down by 50% power leaves Mewtwo very alive. It then makes all that damage and Pangoro disappear with Drain Punch. I fell into the trap again just as Mawile came out. Two physical attackers, both steel no less. Groudon. Mewtwo dies, Mawile dies. Aegislash King shielded. Slowbro comes in to try using Psychic on Groudon while Shadow Claw rakes Dawn Wings. Only half taken from both. We both faint. Okay, Fire Blast on Drampa like I said, but also Brutal Swing on Aegislash. That way she has a full power attack that hurts Psychic and the Lunala duo, while also being a group attack which can't hurt my ally on Holyfield. Still no payback on Throw again, so we kill Terrakion and bounce Slowbro. Aqua Jet is coming for him now, so over to Mawile to take way less after Intimidate, while Hyper Voice does the all-important act of beating the shieldless Lunala. This time though, Keldeo lived through Sandstorm with a pixel. There's Magearna. Here's a special delivery, please don't miss. Good, great. It took down Magearna, and Keldeo didn't bother us with Aqua Jet. Now Gigas on the right has shown up much earlier than ever before, along with fake Lunala. But as good as Hyper Voice is in this fight, it isn't good enough. Sucker Punch and it take down Mewtwo Y, but Necrozma survived it to unleash a Heat Wave and kill Mawile. Fucking really, you had to have Heat Wave? Then comes another Gut Punch. Throw comes in because I'm expecting Groudon soon and I want Wide Guard. He died to the Stealth Rocks on the way in. Slowbro returns instead, and Hyper Voice plus Psychic is more than enough to beat both the predicted Groudon and Necrozma. Then we finally see the last Pokemon in this fight, which is Como-O on the right, who joins Meloetta. I really hate this, because Slowbro is really only good for Como-O, but Meloetta has proven to survive Hyper Voice. When I try it anyway, killing the fighting dragon with Psychic, it's still true. She survives, Drampa gave out from Life Orb, and Meloetta's Relic Song shatters Slowbro. Miserably, Trick Room abandoned me then, as the fight had just become a 2-on-1. In disgust, I went for Shadow Sneak without thinking, but thankfully Pangoro still has Bullet Punch from his days as a Fear Pangoro, and Meloetta is down. But without Trick Room, we aren't killing Mew with Pangoro. Dazzling Gleam takes him out first, Aegislash guarding. Mew then did a Nature Power Judgment on her, but she lived, and Brutal Swing took a lot of its HP. Wait, maybe Shadow Sneak. No! No! That's how you let this end? On 1 HP? Fuck you, Ranges! That was how I felt then, but in the end, Mewtwo X still remained 2, something Aegislash had no chance against. Attempt 9 starts, and I decided to give Throw Brick Break to use on Tyranitar, since he shouldn't need to use Superpower and lose defense, in the hopes he has more HP to return later in the fight to Wide Guard. Overriding Reversal, it does just what I need, killing the Pseudo even with much less power. However, by the time he left after killing Terrakion, he's dreadfully low anyway, as I realize Life Orb is taking too big a bite. Lunala died while Keldeo lived, Magearna's here again. Fire Blast didn't fail me, we clear their side. Dawn Wings and Jeeg. We lose Mawile to Heat Wave once again while the Y Mega didn't get to attack. Now Throw came back, and thanks to resisting Stealth Rocks, he had barely enough life left to get in here in Wide Guard as Groudon showed up. But that damn Primal thought of that, and only went for Ancient Power on Drampa to kill him after Hyper Voice didn't kill first. Now Pangoro arrives to a matchup he hasn't seen yet, Meloetta. She has less defense than Mew, but I'm afraid to use Crunch on it. I need to save the Z move for Mew, but after flicking over the Groudon and losing Throw to Life Orb, I find out that Crunch isn't good enough for Meloetta either. The only good thing there was that Meloetta was using Psyshock, so it did nothing to Pangoro. But at the worst possible time again, Trick Room failed me. Meloetta survived a Bullet Punch to kill Pangoro and bring Slowbro to 1, who is completely annihilated by Como-O's Clangorous Soul Blaze. Aegislash is helpless since Shadow Sneak can't affect Meloetta. Am I going to get to the end of this fight like this? I keep losing everything before I can finally overtake them. Throw now gets leftovers, and we hit double-digit attempts. I was worried that the removal of Life Orb would be too much now to kill Tyranitar, but even without it and using Brick Break, Tyranitar dies to Throw. The same worry applies to Terrakion with Superpower, but thankfully it worked out there too. Keldeo showed up here again, but I had the suspicion it would not use Aqua Jet this time because Throw is at half HP. As it didn't attack before Drampa as Mawile took over for Throw, but then I never learned what Keldeo used instead. Drampa crit Hyper Voice on it to kill! Okay, that's important. We have some momentum. This is when we get an extremely good convergence this time. Necrozma and Magearna. Dawn Wings has not been dying to Hyper Voice, but it does die to Sucker Punch. Only for Fire Blast to miss this attempt. Fuck no. I had all the tempo. Aura Sphere kills Drampa. Mawile kills Mewtwo X with Play Rough, while Throw only does half to Magearna with Superpower, who answers with Aura Sphere to kill him. Now Mew has shown up to Pangoro, so Black Hole Eclipse for it, and Iron Head was enough to take out Magearna. Bad situation again, no special attacks for Groudon. But then do you remember what happened last time Pangoro crunched Meloetta? It killed this time without critting! Excuse me? That's great. Better than how we both died to Precipice Blades just after. Did I say both? I meant just Pangoro! It missed Mawile! Holy shit, luck is in my favor. Please let this be enough. What's even better is that the Muse team has run out of fighters. But Trick Room left me again now, so Slowbro has to survive this Precipice Blades to do it again. Meanwhile, I have to let Aegislash take the hit instead of Mawile. She dies, but Slowbro doesn't. The second Trick Room is going. Now Psychic and Iron Head must kill Groudon. Yes! There's Mewtwo Y again. Sucker Punch brought it to red, so Surf... No, that did so little. Mewtwo Y only hit Slowbro though to beat her. Sucker Punch beats Gigas, and all that's left is Como-O. Oh god. Of all the times in history, you need to not miss Play Rough. You need to not miss! It did not miss! It's over! Holy fuck, it's finally over! This fight can go jump off a cliff! Like seriously, look at how far we've come with the number of legendaries in a single battle. 10 of them! 2 with 780 base stats! And yet, I've still overcome everything this game has thrown at me without pseudo or actual legendaries and without items in battle. I can tell you with a lot of confidence I used healing in my last file in this fight. And look at that. Just like this time, in my previous file, this fight pushed me to bring in a Pokemon I had never used before. Klefki. I don't know what it was really doing, probably prankster screens or something, but boy that would have not had any offensive prowess in this fight. As for the rest of my team, they were pushed hard, and I know how badly I kept suffering through this one, never making it nearly far enough, until I either used items or got so unbelievably lucky. All I can say for sure, the burnout was real by now. As the screenshot is named, Mew and Mewtwo, what the fuck am I doing anymore? But when the anomalies fade from the Gen 1 Psychic Legendaries, Mewtwo isn't ready to concede. It then begins building up an attack as if it were aiming at me. And in that moment, Fern finds in himself the will to do something to help another. Fern commits to a selfless act for the first time we've known him, and he bolts to me to push me out of the way of the attack's path, only to be caught in it himself. Fern. The first time he cared about somebody else, and he paid the ultimate price, turned to stone by the Mewtwo's attack. Mew comes forward, then seemingly upset at Fern's end as Mewtwo backs away, as if remorseful of its action and its grave consequences. Approaching Mew has it engage you again in a wild encounter. It doesn't take long to capture the wily Mew shiny. Mewtwo waits at the back of the arena. Its action in battle seems to belie its feeling. It used amnesia to forget what it had just done, then not fighting back against the first glitter ball I threw. The two legendaries we just captured both take on a similar hologram-like hue. It's pretty cool. The battle against Mew and Mewtwo is over. Now, there is only one more Pokemon to find and face for the last time. I begin to leave, then faced with Fern's petrified body again. I'll find a way to bring you back, Fern. We return to the nightclub now and tell the person who needs to know the most, Florinia. She learns of Fern's fate and leaves immediately. What will become of Fern will be for next time. But there's one more person to talk to before we close up for today. That person is Aster, and he tells us something you wouldn't believe we'd hear. There are no more anomalies. The last ones were created before we even encountered Giratina. By his words, we've reached the end of the road. At this, we have finally ascended to the ultimate level cap of 150. The war is about to come to a close. At this time, we get a message from Heather when we try to leave the nightclub. It's from Noel. He wants us to meet him at the Rhodocrane tree again. It is with this message that the stage for the final battle is set. Once we find a way to restore Fern, then we will only have one more challenge. We are truly at the end of a road.